This guy just willingly omitted details in hopes that viewers haven't already seen the rebuttals. Nothing new, nothing groundbreaking, don't watch it. Plus a meaningless segment in the middle, attacking someone's body.
What details did they admit?
Bruh.
Okay, I need an answer like now.
Now.
2 thumbs way up.
I ain't getting paid for this stuff, so that's the last time you're gonna see editing at that caliber in this video. But if you want me to make longer videos that are more consistently well edited, I have a Fiverr, I have a Patreon, and of course subscribing so that my monetization can actually pay me. All of that will help a great deal. But that's not nearly as important as the subject matter of today's video. Something that's kind of become a hodgepodge of a lot of topics I've been discussing over the past few years, and a lot of videos I was trying to make but never really had a good opportunity to make them. This is going to be a very long video going in depth on many people and many subjects. Really though, the thesis is pretty simple. The commentary community not only shouldn't be talking about these pedophile allegations, but their double standards that's normally just annoying is straight up making their community feel almost degenerate, like it's dangerous for teens, whether it's direct or indirect, because they allow some weird shit to happen within their community, and I'm going to discuss a lot of it today. Ah yes, Turkey Tom. I missed the annual Turkey Tom video that gets a few thousand views at the end of each year last time. Before we talk about the technicals drama that we all want to talk about.
Whoa, is that blackface, dude?
Tom saw what was happening with big technicals and was like, wow, this is familiar, let me just not get involved. Still somehow got involved against his will, but we'll get to that later. But I go over Tom first, not because of the nostalgia or the difficulty of fitting 3 people in my thumbnail, because he was kind of the first. Turkey Tom the Minor called Digibro a pedophilic creep who belongs behind bars. Due to genuine belief, I'm not calling it defamation. It's pretty important to look at the nuance of what happens next, because Digibro and 16 or 15-year-old Tom debated about it. Teenager just called this guy a pedophile and he thinks he is a pedophile and now is debating them and talking to them one-on-one. Yeah, kinda did set a precedent in hindsight. No one called this out at the time, myself included, but this is kind of weird to think about, honestly. Everyone on Tom's side was like, oh yeah, let's go Tom, you're so base. And, you know, even though there's disagreement to be had, no one was even thinking about the kid arguing with someone he genuinely thought was a pedophile. That's kind of weird. It was a disagreement, so, like, nothing was going to happen. But honestly, it is a little strange to just be calling someone a pedophile, be a minor, and then debate them. No one thinks that's a bit weird. We're gonna see very similar things happening a lot more often in recent years, so that's why I say this is kind of setting up a precedent. Alrighty now for one of the hottest dramas in recent years, mostly because, let's face it, pretty rare for dramas online to involve both parties being this aggro. For funny context, there was a 5-month period where the commentary community was going after technicals for, well, Team Tech gets mad if you say defend, exonerate, whatever, but Technical's video showed how a Smash player Zero was a bit more sympathetic, while also acknowledging how shitty some of the things they did was. And yes, I'm going to stick by that it's sympathetic. I don't give a shit that the 3 minutes of sappy music with the tragic backstory was context. So basically the allegation there was that Zero was allegedly and then later confirmed and then even later backpedaled on sexting a 14-year-old at 19. Many people believe the messages themselves that are available are creepy but not straight up sexting, and there's a lot of muddied water because there always is. Zero admitted to a lot of bad stuff and denied a lot of other bad stuff, and now the narrative is that it was all an irrational suicide note, and most if not all of it was fake. Typically irrational suicidal people don't rationally say some stuff that was true and use enough foresight to think of a situation that the public doesn't know about but might find out about and say he was innocent in that specific context. But whatever, Zero's going to court and will probably win. My opinion doesn't even matter. What's important is that the commentary community was quite upset with Technicals for welcoming him back to YouTube, not Smash tourneys. Don't spurg out just yet. Zero had creepy messages with a 14-year-old girl at 19 that got flirtatious with disturbing implications in my book. Also, high implications of Zero knowing what he was doing was wrong. Though Zero did initially confirm that the explicit images of ice cubes in Teen Pute were requested in the initial tweet longer, people doubt that given Zero's backpedal, but the messages that do exist are visible to some of the first messages involving the girl Katie expressly introducing herself as a 14-year-old fan girl. Usually the term grooming is misused, but this is getting really close. Okay, commentary community is calling that out? Oh, well and good. Sure they are acting like unhinged losers. But whatever, hey, they're on the right side of history. Then, there was messages leaked by commentary, and somehow Tech was the bad friend. Then, John Swan brings up Tech's brother's controversies, which, now the water is so muddied, I'm not even gonna try to figure out what's true or defamatory. But basically, for the purpose of this video, the allegations made towards Tech's brother involve nudes and group chats with minors and lolly drawings, I guess. They insisted on bringing up his brother being relevant because of a potential consistency issue where logically if Tech condemns Zero, he'd have to condemn his twin. Additionally, Tech's brother is a public figure. That second reason is practically a non sequitur, means nothing, no worries, I'm fully aware. Bringing up the brothership made this look like no one actually cared as much about protecting the kiddies as they actually claimed. Then Technicals brings up how commentary community goes so hard against Zero, yet have proudly defended Zaptie, who was basically just Zero except arguably worse than the commentary community after attacking Technicals on his brother, not only calling his family a degenerate, but implying Tech might be as well. Saw that bring up that they defended their parasocial internet friend was taking it too far. By the way, Zero was 19, his victim was 14, 5-year age gap. Zaptie was 20, he thought his victim was 16, but turned out to be 14, so 4 to 6 year age difference, averaging out to 5. Ain't that special? To clarify in terms of how Zaptie's waters were muddied, there were like 100 ages given. If you want nuance, my screamy boys, don't worry, there's nuance. Like how Zaptie was catfished and thought the 14-year-old girl was 16 when he was 20. For your high school context, that's a sophomore to junior in college with a sophomore to junior in high school. What the fuck? Aside from that, I'm sorry, but all the other nuances make Zaptie look worse. Is cultural difference a good excuse for ignorance on Zero's part? No, especially since he talked about her as a secret and was being called creepy. Is it as bad as straight up being a legal major who acknowledges she's worth going to jail for? Also no. Is 4 years as bad as 5? No. Is 5 as bad as 6? Also no. Are either of them being in a dark place an excuse? No. Did Zero commit a felony? Maybe. The messages available didn't straight up get sexual, just heavy implications, and we don't know about the explicit image. Did Zaptie commit a felony? Oh, definitely. Did Zero muddy the waters? Yes. Did Zaptie's friends and foes alike intentionally muddy the water, throw away about a dozen confusing ages, including some I'm confident were straight up lies, basically say that Zaptie did nothing wrong after Zaptie admitted he did something wrong, both during the exchange and after it, including everything Nicholas Deorio mentioned? Oh yeah, yeah. Let's talk about that. First, only reason why I bring up Turkey Tom was really involved in this situation at all is his Zaptie video. Tom was obviously biased towards Zaptie, always was a big fan. Tom was the one going the hardest against Pyrocynical's 4-year age gap, insisting it wasn't entirely a catfish. Tom also basically exonerated Zaptie and claimed the 4-year age difference was legal due to state laws, but crossing state borders invokes federal law. Believe it or not, that's me being done with 99% of anything having to do with Tom in this video. But between that, Pyro enters Spectre Digibro, and haven't looked into it, but maybe just Destiny as well. Please stop talking about this shit. You're not good at it. Oh wait, stop talking about that. Okay. Well, congrats. Okay, cool. Anyways, Heck already covered a complex reason that Nick and Tom were both wrong that kind of can amount to all of these things, including tech being illegal enough, no images need to be exchanged. Meanwhile, Grimsy covered a simple reason, which was that, well, goddamn, it's invoking federal law. Even if it was 20 with a 16-year-old like Zam, oopsie poopsie. So that's where it ends with the Gom boy. But everyone's favorite 45-year-old, 7-year-old babyface Nicholas Deorio has a lot more going on. To be fair, I could go on about Nick's section forever, but between insane arguments with tech, how he had to basically lie or be misinformed at the very least during his crowning jewel of entertainment on his channel, while being wrong within the video itself, as so much shit is just wrong. But so many people have shat on Nick that there isn't much left for me to talk about. But the fact that there is the rest of this section to talk about, that's not a good thing. That's a bad sign. So I'm talking about everyone's sloppy seconds. That is a lot of sloppy seconds. Also, I shouldn't make that analogy in a video with this topic. Ew. This is gross. People might mock me for criticizing for using a lot of words because long man bad, or I'm so dumb and illiterate. No, that's not true. I can follow this. Purpose of convoluted speeches is to trick people. 14 turning, presumably, met at 17, started the interaction's escalation when it was worse. And I noticed that one of the screenshots you provided conveniently cropped out in your initial video. I know you guys like to pull the context card, but you were saying that no news were being exchanged, and you cropped out a part where she said that there was a boob pic that he screenshotted. Just a small deal, small little bit of that context doesn't mean anything. Nick, stop pussyfooting with this manipulative crap. The fact that you acknowledged there was ambiguity and you deliberately chose the most charitable interpretation of your friend and acted as if it was factual is not only skeezy, but you literally look like this meme. By the way, this meme is mocking degenerates because it's practically a parody. If to use your logic in an unironic exoneration, or even just a defense of your old video, even if you want to say you're using this logic currently and not in the exoneration itself, it's a weak backpedal. Is it 0 levels of weak? No, but you know, Zaptie, he's butt buddies with commentary, and I can understand some of the confusion since this bitch keeps changing her story, this stupid catfish victim. Not the victim of the catfish, but the catfish who happened to be the victim. They also said that Zaptie screenshot a 14-year-old boopy. So if we are to take her word on this stuff, like Nick occasionally did in his video, well, Zaptie is in possession of CP, congrats. But once again, to be charitable to Nick, as much as it pains me to be, I gotta. She was horribly inconsistent in her story, was also a liar since she started the situation lying about her age. So was Zaptie in possession? I don't know, I don't think so. But even then, Zaptie thought she turned out to actually be 13 and never mentioned anything of her being 17 as far as I'm aware. Oh wait, I read a bit further down. Zaptie actually mentioned how being 17 wasn't even possible, and he knew that. Great research, Nick. 5-year-old post pinned to the top of the Reddit you got of the guy you're defending in your 2-year-old video series. Wait, just in. Oh, it gets worse. Nick did know and did reference the Reddit post.
A few months later, it had become public information that Heather had been lying to the entire community about her age. She was allegedly 13 years old. So now on top of all of that, Zaptie was catfish. So this leads to crazy theories that Zaptie's into prepubescent children, or Zaptie broke the law, or Zaptie knew the whole time, and the internet spiraled into a shit show. So just to summarize, we have a girl who claimed she was 16, who was 13, who claimed she was manipulated, but didn't show any evidence, and now people are beginning to tweet that he sent and received nudes from this girl. And on top of that, these Snapchat leaks show Heather giving a statement in tweets by Deorio Anthony's girlfriend. I think it's funny right off the bat that she's friends with Hyojin, so we know just what community this is coming from.
Sure, Zaptie didn't know about the age being 13 or 14 initially. That's not Zaptie's fault. But once again, Zaptie not only admitted that he would have known the catfish's age would be 16, not 17, which, you know, makes this worse cumulatively, but he also didn't even deny the red kiwis comparison. Nick just goes on and on, acting like these were crazy conspiracies coming out of nowhere, or the evil Hyogin on Alec's group. Some of them are absolutely unfair. 13 and 14 weren't exactly known, but I mean a 16-year-old at 20 breaking the law, invoking federal law doesn't really care that you thought you were going to illegally meet up with a 16-year-old in another state, and it turned out to be an even more illegal 13 or 14-year-old. Tough luck. Okay, even with the agreeable points in this video, everything about it's presented so manipulatively. I'm just gonna show you the entire Reddit document, okay? You can go ahead and pause and read through this and see if I'm being uncharitable. And even though Nick was implicitly on the premise that Zaptie's Reddit post was too harsh on himself and there was missing info, even if you want to go that route, well then it loops back to fucking Zero. The entire crux of the argument hinges on how much of Zero's initial twitlonger can be believed, since it was a partial admission but also said the catfishing was false. Sound familiar? Yeah, almost every conceivable detail about these cases are so similar it's uncanny. And also, in the video he criticizes this statement for being weird and contrived because who asks questions like this? E-dating seems pretty convenient. Almost as convenient as telling Zero almost immediately that they are a 14-year-old girl who's enamored by the great Zero to make it almost as unambiguously groom-like as possible. Sort of a perfectly contrived gotcha in both situations, huh? Maybe you should be, I don't know, less rules for me and we and not for thee, but whatever. But then things get even more confusing because of the following.
And now people are beginning to tweet that he sent and received nudes from this girl. And on top of that, these Snapchat leaks show Heather giving a statement in tweets by Deorio Anthony's girlfriend. I think it's funny right off the bat that she's friends with Hyogin, so we know just what community this is coming from. But right here we see her admit to catfishing and lying about her age directly in these screenshots. But do you want to know what the real punchline is? Do you know the kicker? These Snapchats have nothing to do with Zaptie.
What? Yeah, don't you just love it when someone is trying to vindicate Zaptie, they just start talking about a bunch of other cases without warning as a gotcha to be like, these accusers have no credibility, like there was no structure here, and it was intentionally designed to trick the audience. So I'm genuinely just confused as to what was Zaptie or not. And yeah, discrediting people for their allegation track record is hilarious coming from anyone in commentary, especially in this video. Yeah, I get it. I get it. Defending Zaptie, attacking Zero, hypocritical, blah blah blah. At least there's arguments to say that Zero might be worse than Zaptie. Zero's perceived age gap was bigger than Zaptie, for example. On top of that, this is the same community fighting tooth and nail to call Pyro not a groomer, but a maybe groomer and a not groomer, because that was also a convoluted situation. Just hear me out, okay? Because Pyro was a 19-year-old exchanging weird dragon what the fuckery with a 15-year-old on 18-up forum. The entire debate was whether or not Pyro knew their age. Yet, same age difference with an adult and a minor, perpetrator in a country with a higher age of consent than Britain on both sides, and Zaptie knew the age was a 4-year gap, but turned out to be even lower. Pyro had zero knowledge of the presumed age gap initially. I mean, they presumed they were 18 on an 18-up website, and would have been damned to hell and back if Pyro knew it was a 4-year age gap. Zaptie the best case scenario? Same friends who damned Pyro for that shit are fighting tooth and nail save Zaptie, and Zaptie heavily implied going to jail to screw the teenager. Okay. Nick admitting that Zaptie was not only willing to go out and see and screw her, but also had a law major who said she'd go to jail for her and knew it was illegal and wrong, and TommyC had to lie out of his ass and pull that Pyro was gonna fly Ivory out because he was gonna fly thousands of fans to a public event. Like, TommyC had to lie about that, but that was just something that Nick basically low-key confirmed was like gonna be a thing Zaptie did. What? Once again, Nick was the one who relayed the information. No excuses or charitability allowed here. At least there were some things that Zaptie did better than Zero. You could argue about remorse, you could argue about initial age gap being worse, you could argue about how Zero was screwing up the aftermath more than Zaptie, but Pyro, literally everything Pyro did in the worst case scenario, Zaptie did even worse in the best case scenario. Woohoo! Charitable? And don't even say they apologize. They always apologize, okay? The commentary community is gonna do the same thing again. They've been doing this shit since Pro Jared, and doesn't Nick still make fun of Pro Jared? Like, yeah, okay, sure. Once again, Pro Jared was when normal people stop. These people don't stop because they're not normal. I don't want to say extreme shit, so I'll just assume that none of it was a lie. Nick was just that incompetent in his magnum opus, but Christ's sake, so many people agreeing on this and their values being skewed, as well as no one figuring out the age gap because of, oh, so many different options. This kind of looks like a bit of a cover-up. Trying to be charitable, but I'm bad at it. So it looks like a commentary community deliberately weaponizing false allegations against people in order to support their friends. And when their friends are degenerate, they research conveniently as charitable as possible and also as choppy as possible. Well, to be fair, their research on important shit like this is consistently bad, but charitable, never. But actually, no, I can't assume none of this stuff Nick pulled was pure ignorance. Tom, Willie Mac show, you know, yeah, sure, whatever. I can believe it. But I can't with Nick's initial video. I showed you about a minute and a half of a 40-minute video. You can bet it gets worse. They don't have that kind of time. Zaptie almost identical to Zero's situation, with some things worse and some things better. And then people still believe in Pyro's guilt, and Pyro's situation, even at worst, is just Zaptie's situation except better in basically every conceivable angle, position, and every factor. Like, is there a single factor that even at worst Pyro is inferior to Zaptie, you know? Like, what was he not as sorry? Maybe it's because Pyro didn't do anything to be sorry about. Like, unlike Zaptie, do you guys seriously want a community full of impressionable teens where the quote-unquote leaders are not only misleadingly influential on the internet sphere of important criminal accusations, but also essentially covering up the degenerates in their group? Because today you're going to find out that this is not a one-off event, but a pattern between many different people and subsets of commentary. And you know what? I don't like it.
Reality for many YouTubers tends to be that they're great at giving criticism or great at cracking jokes about their topic. However, not every YouTuber is able to accept.
Technicals made a video defending Zero, and personally, I think the defense of Zero, the Smash player who was accused of several things, largely that of sexually charged conversations with someone who was about 5 years younger than him when he was 19, and he knew it right out of the gate, as well as some alleged nudes, but we don't know how true those are. A lot of the issues are apparent in Technical's video. Some of it is definitely emotional, and I understand the context. Everyone does seem to agree is real, depending on the day of the week, because I swear to God, people on Tech's side, sometimes the basis of their arguments is as if she's real, sometimes they're doubting it on the basis of a lawsuit we don't know anything about. Who knows what the fuck's going on? It just seems to switch all the time. I don't really understand that part very well. How can you sue someone for defamation when you on public record agree with the defamation? Now the waters are so muddied and vague, we can't even tell what's true anymore. So it's not like I'm a Technicals fanboy and I think Technicals is completely in the right, but honestly, the commentary community went from criticizing Technicals' take to trying to just bury Technicals for some reason and turn Technicals into a fucking pariah and bring up everyone but Zero to weaponize against him, like literal twin brother. So of course, in response, Technicals brings up the Goon Squad's best buddy, best old butt buddy, Zaptie, who is probably worse. Objective. The messages are a lot more explicit. The commentary community, because, you know, I guess Zaptie is a commentary channel and they really love that Zaptie. They're so offended by the guy who you just smeared his brother with to do the exact same thing to a friend on the internet. These guys treat parasocial relationships more importantly than literal family. Mini-Lad and Red Kiwi's take is such a fucking lie. Technicals didn't defend Kiwis and Mini-Lad. Zero, Mini-Lad, Zaptie, and, you know, they have a lot of similarities. So if you guys, the commentary community, is so critical of Kiwis and Mini-Lad, why are you defending Zaptie, who's kind of similar? In fact, the fact that you said that I was defending says a lot more about you than anyone else, because Technical's point is that your criticisms can be applied to Zaptie as much as Red Kiwis and Mini-Lad. So It's clearly projection and insecurity when you're lying and saying good old Technicals is defending them. If you want to strip away the nuance from Technicals' argument and at least make a convincing lie, you could at least accuse him of saying the commentary community is indirectly defending Kiwis and Mini-Lad on the basis that the commentary community's defenses of Zaptie can be applied to both of them. I mean, it's not like it's the first time the comparison has been made, good lord. It was even happening on Zaptie's own subreddit 5 years ago. Are they stupid? Yes, but how transparently malicious they are with how just want to believe things that make their enemies look bad and they don't even bother checking, or you know, they did say they checked, so maybe they're just fucking lying. It's so obviously malicious and scummy. That's what really fucks with me here.
Some members of my Discord decided to make an obviously fake leak to see if Augustus would take the bait, and both him and Tipster immediately fell for it.
Dude, Technicals wants people to become mods to join my Discord.
Oh.
Please respond. Oh no, oh no.
That's a really bad fucking look, dude. Holy shit.
Dude, he's
Yeah,
desperate.
don't go
His
full
video's gonna be
crowd.
shit. Like the fuck out of that tweet and spread it. Arizona tipped 5. Hey man, you gotta remember that it may be impersonating Tech. Don't be desperate, man. No, they confirmed that it's his actual Discord.
Job well done, guys. Great job. I'm proud of you.
Easy clap.
It's called We Do a Little Trolling.
I've always been an Augie hater since day one.
Alright, Augie, listen, if you want me to throw him behind the bus, my PayPal's in the description, so slide it over.
Donating to Augie to get his attention to make him believe a shitty meme is $5.
What we do, we send
What is
Aiden
this
back in
stupid shit?
time.
Is it too extreme of me to say that if you're just seeing allegations as a weapon, that you don't even check the shit and you just use it as spite, maybe, just maybe, you shouldn't be talking about this fucking shit? Just a thought, man! At least when Technicals falls for it and checks, he at least admits it. Tech is basically running on pure spite at this point, and he's still more genuine and less malicious than you cunts. Honestly, Tech's dignity throughout this entire situation and basically just bodying every member of the commentary community, as well as his god tier fucking video he released at the beginning of the year called the Commentary Community Double Standard. It's all masterful, and I recommend you watching that, and it's kind of turning my opinion. Like, if I'm going to be biased, it's going to be towards Tech. But honestly, the big takeaway from this situation I thought was the most interesting was just how bad this Zaptie guy that everyone's defending really was. And yeah, that fucks me up a bit. Let's talk about it. (1917, 2016, 2013, 2014, 1914. These are all of the alleged ages I have heard in this case. I believe the actual age is 2014. I believe that somehow Zaptie went back on his initial confirmation. That would be another comparison to zero. Okay, I think I see why Tom and Willie Mac have been so cautious on this issue now, because
We? Now we going to what do you mean we? Nintendo? No, we as an us.
talk about a downplay. Also, are the metrics for second chances not in jail and good videos? To be fair, it would still make sense if they just know this is a bad idea to get involved with in general without digging up their obviously downplaying comments. People acted like Zaptie was innocent as if it's common knowledge, to the point where I don't think Mini-Lad or Kiwis is being debated as equally bad. It's just looking at age gap on its own, which is the most important part, removing the context, which you guys basically did as soon as you started talking about zero. In fact, there's so much retroactive hypocrisy here that it's kind of astounding in hindsight. So this is a long-ass clip, but you're gonna need to see it.
I don't know, because a year ago, when fucking Kiwis got outed, or every other fucking asshole got outed, or whatever, and they did something that was objectively bad, okay, I'm not saying Zero did anything bad on that level, but it's pretty fucking close.
Why do you bring it up?
It's pretty fucking close.
Why do you bring it up if
okay,
you know
but
it's not the
because
same?
we're generally against these people. We're generally against people that do bad things to children, alright? That's why I don't know why we're fucking giving Zero so much fucking credit. He did bad stuff to children. There's no fucking excuse for that.
Yeah,
there's no excuse.
I just wanna hop in here and add a little thing. Some people have been asking me about this, and given my track record with some of these similar accusations. I've stayed out of it, so I'm not going to make a definitive stance. Okay, I'm not going to make a definitive stance.
Probably,
especially because you know what? I like people on both sides. I like Slush. I had a great time with Tech at VidCon. You know, he was a lovely guy. We had a lot of fun.
Same.
But
Yeah, I like
but
those people.
I want to ask a question of chat. Okay, I want to ask a interesting
hold
question
that
of chat.
Tom, hold that question. I gotta respond to this.
Sure.
Nobody's excusing it. Absolutely everybody on the fucking timeline is excusing it. Have you ever been on
Okay.
fucking Twitter before? Holy shit, dude. Literally the whole fucking chat is excusing it.
The
All right,
entire
go ahead.
chat, all of the people watching Zero's video.
No, there's like all
that
these
video
fucking
has an
people in the
extremely
chat who are
positive
sitting here
reception.
being like,
So I wanna
well, he
ask a
changed,
question.
Augie. He
was
fucking
literally arguing
changed.
with
All
Slush
right?
yesterday
He's
about it.
different
I wanna
now.
ask a
It was 5
question.
years ago. He was from Chile. Okay? The age you can sit there is fucking 10. Okay? It's okay. No, it's not okay.
I want to take I want to take the reins here for a second and just ask
Yeah, go ahead.
a simple question of each person in this chat. And you know what? The chat at home can play along too. Okay, I want to hear your guys' opinion. Okay, so I'm gonna go down the line. I'll start with Augie. I'll end with Tipster. So I'll ask this question. I'm 19 years old, right now. I turned 19 in August, so I'm 19 now. I'm the same age that Zero was when this shit happened. Okay, if I was caught talking to a 14-year-old girl, asking her to shove ice up her pussy and send me pictures of it, regardless if the girl did it, how would each person in this call feel about that? Augie, how would you feel about that?
You would be a sick fuck, and I would never talk to you again, and I would fucking make that abundantly clear on my public platforms.
Boblax, how would you feel about that?
I'd be confused, mind-fucked, angry, and,
Would you be willing to talk to me again? Would you be willing to have me back in the community in any way? Would you associate with me in any way?
probably not.
Edwin?
No, dude, that's gonna be a hard no. I mean, oh, Jesus, no, dude. I would.
Flamenco? What do you think? What do you think?
You're a
Flamenco?
massive fucking retard.
Okay, just retard? Really? Just
Yeah,
retard?
massive fucking retard. Yeah, absolutely.
Okay, I think you're a retard. Ricky, what do you think about that?
Bunty King would be right about you then.
Okay, Tipster, what do you think?
Oh God.
I would think that you're a massive fucking degenerate, and I would have no problem burning that bridge.
But is it just degenerate? Is there another word you maybe want to use? If a 19-year-old tries to,
You're a pedophile. You're a
solicit
fucking
images?
pedo.
Okay,
You're a
there
fucking
we
pedo.
go,
You're
there
attracted
we
to
go.
children. You want children.
So chat, consider that, okay? Consider that. If I, at the current age I am now, talk to a girl, I would be derided, okay? I would be shat on beyond belief, and I would deserve it. I would deserve it.
Really look like you really focused on the nuance very much, or the context. Huh. Very strange. Anyways, yeah, I haven't seen this community consistently fail on every person's behalf since the D'Angelo Wallace situation, and that was a nothing burger. This is a something burger, and even more people might be noticing. Augie has been consistently the person doing the most damage to his own side, and a lot of people coming to me saying they gave up on the commentary community. A lot of that happened after the Augie versus technical stream. Tipster spurged and then privated and cried about jokes about his wife, and everyone was shitting on Tipster for that, so let's add that to Tipster's collection of the mass block spree on misgendering Chris Chan, crying in the rain about Turkey Tom being cancelled for saying the N-word, and crying about his wife John Swan getting cancelled. What's your favorite Tipster moment, kids? Dickster maulding after he says he won't mauld for very long? I mean, you gotta do that if you're in commentary, God. Honestly, there really isn't too much I can say that Technicals hasn't said already, or that I didn't put in that fancy little compilation on that stream earlier. I'm pretty proud of that one. Make sure you go back and read all the comments and juxtapose them with what's being said on stream. To this day, John Swan depressingly made the strongest case. He's smart, but a scumbag, but he's still smart. Some of his points have merit, a lot of them do, even though a lot of it was framed in a very hard and fast, ironically unnuanced way. Oversimplifying things and bringing his brother in it for so long makes it seem very, very what the fucky, let's just say. Either way, I'll be happy because as I alluded to prior, no one can fuck it up as bad as Augie has. He screwed it up so badly that his coping is getting his own designated section. Augie is yet another edgelord who pussies out supremely, not a shocker in commentary. Keemstar admittedly unfairly at like 3 a.m. in the morning told Tech and Augie to go on a debate the next day at 8 p.m. Keemstar in the tweet itself said, "No shows are an automatic, also it's as unambiguous as possible." Augie was finishing up and refining a Google Doc, so this was hardly fair to Augie, and also Augie's debate at Technicals twice, so there is reason for Augie to duck the debate. But Technicals was happy enough to join. Augie declined and said he'd be gaming. Well, I feel like what I would have done if I was Augie would have been aggressively try to rearrange the time to be at least a little bit later and then show up to bitch out Keemstar as much as Technicals. It would be a lot more dignified. Hell, even showing up thinking you'll lose is fine because, hey, there will be Sims saying you won, because if there's a debate, there's subjectivity in terms of who won typically. But you can't win a debate you don't show up to. But that's not the end of it. Augie just did what I see many commentary channels do when they're on the losing end. So Augie doesn't even game, he does the most cowardly thing imaginable. He mods for his HyperSims 4K sub 2 livestream, reacting to other people reacting to the Technicals video. So Augie's willing to debate Technicals points in an echo chamber without Technicals to defend himself at the exact same time Technicals was gonna debate. Okay, I'm sorry, correction, not even debate Technicals, just cheer someone else on for debating Technicals points. You can't make this shit up. Bruh, it gets even more bitch made if that's even physically possible, dog. In case someone breaches the echo chamber, Augie might ban them. Or if Sen shows up getting shat on and just says common Augie W. Or he might just go fucking schizophrenic. And people are calling Technicals a bitch because he did show up to one stream that I've like never even heard of. Also, apparently this happened.
After I called him short twice and added him, he banned me from his friend's chat, which was kind of sad. A man-child that sits online and eats meatballs, consistently talking shit about everybody else and calling everybody else sensitive and telling them to cope, is mad that I called him short twice.
Seriously, Augie's just a combination of the best of Ethan Ralph, which doesn't say a lot, and the worst of Leafy is here. This is just pathetic. Let's move on to a similar case involving commentary negligence.
Young ladies, I like them underage. See, some say that's statutory, but I say it's mandatory.
Okay, so the thing about Scrimzox is I don't really know enough about him to personally say much. I'm not the expert, okay guys? Just saying. I'm not expecting people to just talk about every groomer allegation, but when it concerns their community, when they made the Technicals thing so personal, yeah, I kind of expect it to be talked about a bit more. Oh yeah, and Scrimzox is another commentary degenerate just like Zaptie. Curious. I'm starting to see a trend for bias here. So, Grimsy's the expert, but Grimsy also told me not to put any gay-ass disclaimers here, so here are his thoughts.
Yo, what's up? It's Grimsy. Basically, I want to come in here for Smart Alec, do a couple of things regarding Scrimzox. And his two biggest crimes were sending a dick pic to a 12-year-old who he quote-unquote didn't know the age because he didn't ask and automatically assumed she was 16, which just so happens to be the age of consent in the UK.
Okay, I'll stop.
This isn't like me being like a dick or disingenuous, I'm just being real. And on top of this, sending like NSFW anime hentai type shit to a Discord full of children, and then also sending a gore image of a dude sewing his cock to a fucking table to a bunch of 13-year-olds in a server, and his defense was if they're 13 or they're younger than 13, they shouldn't be on Discord anyway. Proceeding to not delete the message he sent, maybe realizing I sent it to a bunch of 12-year-olds, and bitching once the moderator took it down. Now, our good friend Scrimzox is all chummy with the commentary community, kind of. They know he makes dog shit content. They also know he did this, but they don't really give a shit. Because funnily enough, it's not affecting their bottom line, and it wouldn't really raise it that much either. In fact, I'm pretty sure Scrimzox gave $1,000 to Mr. AugieRFC. Jesus Christ, I'm starting to sound like fucking Nick. Basically, what I'm trying to say is also I gave this information to HarleyTBS, who proceeded to ghost me and not give a fuck. And even whenever Scrimzox has a video on his channel, openly saying that he basically does not believe that the girl was 12, still doubting it, and quote-unquote apologizing while proceeding to say Guys, she probably was not 12 because there's a fucking common age being 12 in meme culture. I mean, holy shit. And his defense for sending gore to a bunch of 12-year-olds is that he's fucking autistic. GG, dude, if you don't need any more evidence to explain why these commentary... I can't say the F slur. Fuck! Why these commentary goobers don't even give a shit about what they're doing, but then they consistently say, guys, I care! I promise I care! Thank you, Smart Alec, for letting me on, and fuck Scrimzox and fuck the commentary community. You all are a bunch of lazy fat...
I just want to give you a shout out to Grimsy. You are the best.
There are definitely a few things I'd like to clarify from my research that I've found. Augie and Nick aren't responsible for this at all because they have condemned Scrimzox in the past and explicitly said they wanted him out of the community.
I started to maliciously crop one of my conversations with a friend of mine out of context to imply that I'm a pedophile. People saw through this pretty much right away because even though the context has been cropped out, there's enough context there in there to figure out what was going on. Regardless, I provided full context. The context was I was doing a little bit of trolling and discovered one of my friends.
Dude, I hate this guy. I hate him. I hate him so much. I hate it when Tipster brought him around. I hate that he's still in the community. Can we just fucking get rid of this guy, please? Holy shit, he sucks so much.
So with that being said, I can't really fault Nick and Augie for this since they pretty damn clearly condemned Scrimzox here and they want him out of the community, so there is consistency despite their lack of passion towards Scrimzox like they had towards Technicals and Zero for like 3 months now. But there is someone I can condemn very appropriately. Scrimzy's good old friend Jalen. Grimsy was one of the first people to really break the news about Scrimzox, and a lot of his videos have a lot more evidence and even an interview where Scrimzox admits a lot of stuff. But of course Jalen, he dismissed these genuine concerns about Scrimzox and Jalen, because Jalen is Jalen, as just transphobia, even though gender wasn't really a part of any of these issues. Jalen is schizo, Scrimzox is annoying. This got to a point where Jalen implicitly threatened to flag Grimsy over the criticism, so people are literally being threatened of censorship for exposing this news. This is starting to feel like an actual ring. It's kind of creepy. Now of course Jalen went back on a lot of this and apologized, but if you do something out of stupidity, you still did it, and emotional motivation doesn't discount the actions, and your actions were kind of fucked. And to tag along about what Grimsy said about HarleyTBS earlier, I definitely believe it because Harley seems to turn a blind eye to Scrimzox. No videos on Harley's channel about Scrimzox, but at least one featuring them. It's fascinating that Harley, the master of jumping on groomer accusations 5 minutes after they happen, including supposed friends, all but ignored Scrimzox. Harley definitely heard of it. Yet another early example of cancel culture, and such a well-known one that I won't need to go into too much detail about it. Just being friends with cunts like I'm Alex might get you backstabbed. Slazo wasn't even in commentary. He just was friends with one. He was like an okay Reddit channel. Oh my god, he's trying to fuck a 14-year-old. That's horrible. Wait, he's 16. I don't care. These 3 cunts planned and got away with it. Hyogin doesn't get enough shit for all the shit she's pulled, but whatever. So lesson here is minors, or anyone really, shouldn't even let themselves be too vulnerable around commentary channels a lot of the time. Ew, I'm Alex doesn't represent commentary. Dude, the entire Technicals drama going on right now was just the commentary community's hate boner of their supposed friend Technicals becoming so bad that they forgot they were talking about someone they think is a nonce who barely even gets mentioned in this issue anymore. This logic is always applicable because you never know who's gonna get backstabbed in commentary. It's basically the drama community, so they're gonna get into drama. But the stakes at this level shouldn't happen to anyone, but yet it still does. Also, they're all making commentary on other YouTubers, Technicals, I'm Alex, or anyone else, so it counts. I'm Alex is a serial pedo accuser, including Zaptie, which is interesting, but the thing that makes commentary hate I'm Alex more is that he weaponizes pedo accusations to get ahead in the game, but generally, plenty of commentary channels channels jump on any opportunity for clout, even if you are friends, even if they give you the benefit of the doubt and might try to help. They'll still make the thumbnail and title extremely one-sided against your for precious clicks. Might just post allegedly in the description that no one even checks. So yeah, this isn't exactly uncommon in a way that the anti-technicals group basically weaponized an allegation towards technicals by bringing his brother into it, and someone in this anti-technicals group did the exact same thing with calling a minor a pedo because of their interest in a slightly younger minor.
Stop quacking, bro.
If you want to talk about minors that I just straight up feel bad for who got involved in commentary, Pieman's probably the first on this list. Yeah, and Pieman already probably hates me for even saying that. I digress. I just feel bad for him. They're a kid growing up in the the thing we're not allowed to talk about on YouTube, even though it's everything. And you know, they try to make friends in the betray friends community. Pieman, I don't think you have good judgment, but it only really hurts yourself, so Pieman as a whole is a person is just exhibit A as to why being in commentary is like unhealthy, generally speaking. At least being that deeply involved with it. But, you know, I'm not here to go into subjective vibes you get sometimes. I'm just gonna focus on a couple of big events that really put this into perspective, including one thing that Pieman's forgiven, but like no one else has, let's be real. Most of you know this one already, so it'll be quick. Pieman is 15, and it was a bit weird of Pieman to be attracted to a 12-year-old that they thought 13, I believe. Don't quote me on that one. But it wasn't pedophilic at all. John Swan, Pieman's role model, didn't check the age. He spazzed about how much of a creep they were and how this would chase their rep forever and they should flee the internet. Like, I mean, to be fair, I think Pieman should definitely at least take a break from the internet, but this was a bit less constructive, okay? Pieman was suicidal. Swan's live reaction was laughter and called Pieman a suicide baiter. Swan had to be put through hell before proper apologies. If you could call them that, the whole thing's depressing. Willie Mackshow and Pieman themselves go through a much more detailed video on it if you need more info. Also, a minor being accused of pedophilia due to a small age gap. One or two kind of creepy messages out of context via someone said minor admired, leading them to be suicidal. Yeah, this is the exact same thing as the Slazo case. Wow. At least Tom still hates I'm Alex and the Swan. He's learned what consistency is. I don't know. Give I'm Alex 5 minutes and After Effects and the community will slobber his dick after 10,000 of the shittiest apologies known to man as well. Maybe that's the issue. Like, in terms of things I'd prefer not to happen to me as a kid, meeting your hero and them implying you're a pedo with a rep that'll chase you till the end of time so you need to flee the internet while mocking you, then laughs at your face when you constructively criticize them later, calls being suicidal suicide baiting. Yeah. No matter what you think about the situation, which I hope we all agree is horrible, this is going to be inevitable with how often pedo allegations are thrown around, how seriously it's taken, and how many teenagers are in the commentary community. The community that's built on drama, so they'll start drama with each other. And now the drama involves pedophilia. You see how the cycle's gonna continue and it's gonna be terrible. Something else is gonna happen in the future, very similar, I'm sure of it. I'm Alex and John Swan have already pulled that card. Kids will probably get called pedos by the people they admire if it's in this community. That's probably gonna happen. Emotionally vulnerable ones as well. Can we just not do that though? Prove me wrong. Can't even talk about relationships with this commentary community. Nothing is sacred.
In the Curious review, you said that the the 11-year-olds in the movie is supposed to turn you on, and I think you said it did. Is that what you said?
I believe what I said is that the movie attempts to make the 11-year-olds hot, and that it's pretty good at that.
So, it made you think that the 11-year-olds were hot.
I'm not trying to make a statement about my own opinions of the children in the movie, and I'm definitely not trying to make a statement about that to some more children. So I'll just say that the point of the review is that the film is trying to make you view these young children as though they're older, and that's like a big theme of the movie, is that they're trying to be older and trying to be seen by men as if they are older, and that it's trying to put you in the uncomfortable position of looking at a young child the way that you would somebody older.
Let's see. You don't think, just clarifying again, you don't think that the girls in that movie were hot?
I think that my review stands on its own in terms of my own personal thoughts or feelings, and again, I'm not trying to get into, like, you could ask me if I think Sandra Bullock is hot right now, and I'm not going to answer it. I'm not going to talk about who I think is hot or don't think is hot, or really anything about my sexuality with children, because I think it is weird. I understand that, like, you're trying to host a show, and that the topic of my sexuality is like a public thing, but I honestly, partly just out of concern for you, like, I think it would be weird to talk about that with you. Our new channel just kind of moved on, and then 3.5 months later I got an email and it was like, oh, hey, we know you may be upset by this, but actually we were wrong and your channel is fine, and here it is. We did remove this one video though.
Yeah, so they kept that Curious review down.
They did.
Yeah, so that,
I think another
according
thing
to
I want to
them-
say about the Cuties review is that I watched this. This is probably the video I spent the least time on out of any video I've ever made. So I just watched the movie.
When Mr. Girl's the most responsible adult in the room, I think we know there's a problem. I don't know why anyone thought it was a good idea for a teenager to host the podcast where he interviews someone he thinks might be a troll but isn't, about like their sexual feelings potentially towards minor. Oh, let's get the teenagers to figure out if the adult is a pedophile or not live. Nothing about that's weird, especially with like Mr. Girl. Like, whatever your thoughts or interpretation of his messages, generally speaking, it can be agreed that he is trying to expose dark secrets within humanity's mind that we try to repress so much, but really we should, I guess, accept it but not embrace it. That's the most generous interpretation for his content I can muster. I'm not here to go after the very uncomfortable Mr. Girl, but he is trying to like say how similar Pieman and him are based on like some of the allegations, even though Mr. Girl admits that he's brought them on himself, and it seems almost a bit manipulative at times. I don't know, the premise of this stream is just why is it teenagers? Why it's gotta be teenagers? Why do the other idiot teenagers in the comments and the chat just kind of think of it as a joke? It's all, especially since Pieman's already been kind of, I think they've probably been kind of fucked up, let's be real. Also, this happened at the end.
Can you give us your thoughts on the Oedipus complex?
Yeah, I was in a college class. I was in a philosophy class, and the teacher was talking about the Oedipus complex, and she was like, Freud had some really weird ideas about sexuality. And I raised my hand and I was like, I think Freud didn't describe like human sexuality perfectly, but he perfectly described my sexuality. And she thought that was like really funny, and everybody was like super weirded out.
Sorry, can I just confirm that you just admitted that you were attracted to your mother as a child?
Actually, well, yeah, when I was really young, yeah. And it's definitely planted some very weird dark seeds in my brain. But when I was 16, my mother kicked me out of my house to go live with my father. It is. When I confronted her about this at age 25, she told me that it was partly because she was sexually attracted to me and afraid for me.
Well, that is certainly a statement.
But also, I already knew that. That's the other disturbing thing, is that I already knew she was sexually attracted to me. And I was, they call it covert incest, but I was completely repulsed by her. I'd say up until I was like 12, I wanted to have sex with her, and then after I was 12, I wanted to be as far away from her as physically possible at all times. So, you could
I need to go
describe
for
that
like
as
5 minutes, so rest of you keep
Me
the
too.
podcast going.
No, I got it, Pieman. I'll take over. It's fine.
Pieman, you were already crushing on a girl on the internet who was like 3 years younger than you, and you probably just fucking learned about sex ed 4 years prior. What is happening? This is what is happening. Why do they need to hear this? Pieman's brought this on himself as much as Mr. Girl. Like, I mean, Mr. Girl exercised fucking restraint and, like, explicitly said, a lot of the stuff you're asking me is not appropriate to talk to with a minor. I don't get this fucking commentary. Why is this being enabled? Why is this, like, not considered odd or bad or concerning? I don't know. I'm pretty sure developmentally these kids are gonna be fucked. Okay, sure. There's probably no harm from this. I'm just being an overly worried Karen or whatever. But it's like, this was just a bad idea. Come on, guys. Also, Vito was being really annoying in chat and white knighting Mr. Girl when there wasn't even much point in white knighting him. Speaking of white knights and Vito...
Like I said, kids are cool, Jack. And I'm very in touch with my inner child.
Yeah, long story short about Vito, he just makes hundreds of quote-unquote jokes that amount to him saying, I'm a pedo. You are? No, free speech though. That's fucking lame. And somehow Tipster lost the pedo-related take to him. I feel like you automatically deserve losing a human right if you lose to Vito on anything. Anyways, TommyC, he happens to be a friend of Vito, and he's another kind of, let's just say, a little unhinged, a little drunk live streamer just talking about shit in commentary. Maybe I'm misusing the term live streamer because apparently I learned the other day that podcasts and streams are different, so I don't know, maybe I'm the real fucking boomer here. But this is apparently cancel culture to him. I know one thing's for sure. I might not know much about podcasts, but I know this ain't cancel culture.
You know, listen, I watch a lot of Yellow Flash's stuff. I mean, is this not a cancel attempt or what? I mean, come on. These Hollywood guys, they'll cancel you. They're heartless. Get the fuck out of here. Here's the thing that's going on here. Vito pisses a lot of fucking people off, both on the left and the right, all right? Often. And when he mindlessly defends himself, defends this kind of stuff, which he's simply just not qualified to do. He's just a bleeding heart douchebag liberal. Then the Yellow Flashes of the community is what? He got into it with... Geeks and Gamers. Oh, I got you now, Vito. And then I got news for you. The jackass at Netflix are probably laughing their ass off at Vito right now. It seems like every time Vito's on a hot streak, he tries to get in this debate for whatever reason. That being said, what Vito's saying here, and I'm pretty sure he's fucking wrong, but here's the thing. I'm not really equipped for this debate either because I don't know all the studies, and I'm pretty sure he doesn't too. All right? What he's saying is anything that would get kids less abused, he'd be willing to do. This is something that Destiny got in trouble with a couple years ago.
Now, I'm all for giving people the benefit of the doubt like the next guy, but you just went off on an agenda for the people critiquing your good old friend Vito for making a statement you admit is stupid. You admit in the title and you admit it here. And all they said was WTF. How else are you not supposed to take that statement as WTF? How is that cancel culture? For some real cancel culture, I can just dig up your past and be like, hey, last year you fucking lied about this situation involving this, I don't know, small YouTuber named Pyrocynical.
The only thing I can possibly think of is inviting him and a bunch of other people to an event in the UK. And somehow this got spun as me buying him a plane ticket to fly him out to have sex with him.
Even if he lied, which can't be proven, a 20-year-old guy flying a 16-year-old boy out to fuck him in England. I don't care what the law is. Most people find that disgusting, and that's why Pyro's losing.
Sive, PewDiePie's editor, is one of the many people I invited to this event, and he agrees the claim is just complete bullshit.
I never thought in my life I'd have to ever justify something like this, but I do remember back in 2017, Niall invited me and a bunch of other people to drink with him. And I remember telling Niall very last minute that I couldn't come, so I pretty much flaked on him. To say something sexual was going to happen in a very public event with a load of people, even people Niall didn't even know and wasn't really close with, it's just false.
Now, if I was a bit more of a cancel culture guy, I just assumed that you hold your friends, your enemies, and people you're neutral towards to much, much different standards about serious issues like this. But, you know, I won't be cancel culture-y. Hey, I know that Vito didn't admit to anything specifically. Zero and Pyro were being accused of it, and hell, Zero even admitted it and went back on it later. You know, that's fine, but you still fucking lied about Pyro, and you still fucking lied about people's motivation of just saying what the fuck to an objectively what the fuck statement, and you calling it cancel culture even though you fucking agree with them.
20-year-old guy flying a 16-year-old boy out to fuck him in England. I don't care what the law is. Most people find that disgusting.
But, you know, whatever. I digress. Also, in terms of people I'd white knight from cancel culture, Vito ain't exactly at the top of my list for a variety of reasons. But seriously, it's like Tommy just took all of the amorphous definitions of cancel culture, whether it's criticism, bringing up something in the past, just acknowledging any mistake at all, or even straight up deplatforming or something bad, or maybe trying to get someone. He just fucking melded it all into one definition, so it's like he doesn't even know what the fuck he's talking about.
And, Steve, fuck you too. Because you asked for this. You're a cancel culture jerk off. And you just got canceled, you know, the wrong way. So go fuck yourself. Go suck a dick. And, yeah, you deserve every bit of it. And I hope you get 2 more strikes, even though it's wrong.
And even though what Steve did was, fucking terrible, not really excusable either, because guess what? You can't even say it's just a joke you added to YouTube.
Don't let me speak!
Despite that, it seems a little cancel-y of Tommy to be like, oh, well, this guy sucks, so does the rest of his crew. Okay, that sounds like cancel culture to me. Death by association, that bullshit. Even as the crew is shitting on Steve, which brings me back to Vito. Is Vito in your crew? Can I paint you as being in the same boat as Vito? Oh no! Oh, by your logic, I probably could though.
Looks like you're a gotcha player at heart.
Is that because of my brain damage?
No, it's because you go after children, and there ain't enough room in this preschool for the 2 of us. Now activating window deflectors. Like I said, kids are cruel, Jack, and I love minors.
Anything else Tommy C brings to the table? Here's some those are the wrong tweets. Let's just look at some of his clips, maybe.
I hate to say it, and I don't think every word he says is gospel, but Jordan Peterson, you don't want to be the guy crying in the corner out of control and not being able to take care of everything when your parents die. Because people are counting on you, and in this case, Zaptie was counting.
Okay, so looks like he's unhinged.
You're not doing commentary. You're playing cancel games. Have I engaged in that kind of stuff before? Yes, but always in self-defense. I never fucking targeted somebody to take them out.
You do all the time. Maybe ignoring Vito and Zero and Zaptie and Pyro. Maybe he's got some good takes on that genre of content. Deep stuck somewhere in there.
Wait a minute, Tommy. In the chat, 3-year age gap, and Deorio hasn't called out Ethan Ralph, who waited for a 17-year-old to turn 18
She's an
to
adult!
fucking get her pregnant.
Oh my god.
I have literally talked shit about that guy.
The worst part is one of Tommy C's streams is some of the only evidence of the actual wake up Instagram event happening. I was gonna talk about the weirdness of Just Stop the Minor constantly having crossovers to discuss pedophilia with like adults, or in a video that happens to be about pedophilia when he's a minor, and also something we'll see very shortly with Harley, but I don't really have enough. It's not big enough fish for me to fry regarding Just Stop specific situations, such as the Mama Max video and the John Bob video. It doesn't really matter that much, idiots. I still prefer if like that wasn't so encouraged, that hey, teenagers, you should talk about that shit all the time. But yay, he's not a commentary channel anymore, so who the fuck do I care or know? But we are going to be talking about Harley specifically because Harley screwed up a lot. So I don't know, anything else I gotta say?
Look, I've defended 14 through 17.
But if you close your eyes, does it almost feel like
Senior, then a freshman is something that on its own face value I don't necessarily have an issue.
I've been trying to talk about HarleyTBS for like almost a year now. There's a lot to go over. But for this video, HarleyTBS is a commentary channel who's like 16 at the time of a lot of this stuff being discussed. Probably like 17 now. And they really like to talk about groomers. I swear to God, every other week. Also admitted to starting commentary too young on one of Spockter Theory's videos, and yet continues being a teenager who talks about groomer allegations all the time. I think you can understand at least one problem. For clarification on some of the Vex stuff I rushed through earlier, Harley did go through a lot of the receipts. Vex admitting to a lot of it. Vex as an individual is pretty sketchy, but not in the I am going to rape your children category, but in the notorious 3-year age gap, also known as high school context. The issues with Harley's video still stand that Harley flips around between confirmed and alleged because they don't want the legal responsibility of risking being wrong, so they have to say alleged, but they want the pride of asserting your stance if it's correct. If you feel like you have to say alleged, don't act so confident about your statement in the same video. Pick one or the other. Or maybe even admit, I am not a god and I'm skeptical. Is that too much? Also seriously just screwed up that Harley used friend in the title for clicks. The first few seconds of the video, Harley's half laughing. Like, come on. The first thing we're going to discuss is so complicated and it goes on for so long that I just don't think I could have put everything in the video and made it entertaining without explaining the context. So I have a separate dedicated Google Doc that's 15 pages long that's just dedicated to the context I left out of the Cosmodore segment. And let's talk about that Cosmodore segment. Surely people won't take this screenshot at the start too seriously.
Bruh.
Okay, for context, I'm going to try to do this section as quickly as possible. Cosmodore is a groomer. I don't say that lightly, but yeah, Cosmo's admitted to it. Groomer. Harley talked about him a lot. I don't have energy to edit this one at all, or at least very well, because I hate this segment. It's pushing my limits. I'm going over some of the stuff for when Harley was a lot newer to commentary, so keep that in mind. The 16-year-old reaching out to talk to the groomer privately to see if they've changed. Wowie, what? Why the fuck did you do that?
Cosmodore, this is the last time I'm going to address you publicly.
So that was a fucking lie.
I've spoke to you privately.
I'm not for. Oh, okay. Seems a little insensitive to the teens who have fallen victim to a known groomer, since Cosmodore has apparently done it to 3 people, and it was very public by the time he got to the 3rd, so fuck me, I guess. Also want to make it clear that video came out in March of last year, when the next video I'm about to talk about came out in June of the same year. Also, the clip we're about to go over, I am 100% certain Harley does not stand by this today, but it is more evidence that teens who watch fucking Steven Universe all the time probably shouldn't be tackling these allegations.
If you haven't seen my previous video on this, I'm going to just briefly touch on everything I touched on there, so that it becomes clear to you who Cosmodore is, what they've done, and why there's so much scrutiny against their behavior, and why people aren't excusing what they've. I'm a very generous person, and today I want to go over all the steps that Cosmodore could do from this final response video that they've made to become a better person and return to YouTube and hopefully be accepted back into their community, which I believe could genuinely happen if they show they've actually changed. I know Cosmodore is very skeptical that they'll ever be given another chance, but if they actually made the effort to become a better person, maybe they'll actually see that people are a lot more forgiving than they think.
Am I just insane, or am I actually hearing some Steven Universe melodies in the background? Now, given everything, let's just be happy that Harley doesn't believe in this opinion anymore under any circumstances. However, the fact that a minor was already contacting Cosmodore and was this naive in the first place is a problem, or as the kids like to say, problematic. I fucking hate that word, but if there's a time it's applicable, it'd be now, because of just how seriously and obviously Harley was messing up that one time. I think it's still important to note that, hey, this kid really likes to change their mind. They really are easily influenced with their opinions. They can be too forgiving sometimes. They rush to situations too quickly. Between that, the naivety, as well as the inconsistency, why do you need this kid to go on the sting operations? I mean, they did a hell of a lot better job than Pieman, but if you're alive and you have a pulse, you did a better job than Pieman. And aside from the thing that Harley obviously disagrees with now, nothing really bad happened from the situation. But like in terms of good that happened, Harley proved that Cosmodore hasn't changed in the video where Cosmodore admitted to having 3 victims. Good job. It's like finding a corpse and then shitting on it and claiming victory. You didn't do anything. What? It's so obvious. What the fuck? And here's where pausing the video might be almost as useful as seeing all the context in that Google Doc, because I was trying to screenshot as much as I could in this chaotic fucking argument of everyone posting aggressively at the same time. I'm just gonna give you what I think is important. If I missed anything, or if I actually took someone out of context, please tell me and prove it, instead of just saying you took me out of context, not providing a damn piece of counter evidence. Anyways, apparently Harley was trying to be careful, points there, but they were asking permission from Nawnii, who's another stranger adult on the internet, and Braxton, who is a stranger teen on the internet, before contacting and accepting Cosmodore's messages. Occam's razor. Just let Nawnii the adult do it. I don't get why that's so hard. Even if nothing bad happens, I feel like a predator talking to a minor is the bad thing that happened anyways. I don't think you need anything else, but I guess I'm just fucking insane. I feel like the whole planet's gaslighting me because of this apparently unpopular take, this apparently crazy ass idea that, hey, maybe children shouldn't be talking to pedophiles to get the nice little Chris Hansen roleplay scoop. This keeps fucking happening. I've seen it happen over and over as I'm writing the script. 10 times worse situation happened with fucking Pieman. This shit keeps happening. No one's gonna stop it. Hey, welcome to commentary, where kids get to play Mr. Chris Hansen, who Chris Hansen can't even do this shit right anymore. Why do you think kids can? What the fuck is this world coming to? God damn it. Making matters worse is not only does Harley have a large audience, but they seem to mostly agree with Harley in this instance. A lot of them are also teenagers. I don't want Harley's stupidity to infectiously inspire people who want to be like Harley. Even more teens gotta hop on that talk to the predator train. Why is that a train? That should not exist. The only thing it's good for is watching it fucking fly off the tracks. In a train wreck you can't look away from, I guess, for some, like the Pieman situation. Point is, they weren't alone, so 2 minors get to talk to a predator instead of 1. You fucking got me. My argument after HarleyTBS fans respond to it. I made this comment on one of Nawnii's Cosmodore videos, I believe, and I'm glad at least 18 people agreed. Sure, it's not a lot, but hey, maybe the whole world hasn't gone fucking insane after all. Who knows? Obviously, I'm not saying Nawnii's a predator or anything stupid like that. What I am saying is they should stop enabling, like, predators and teens to talk to each other so the teen can get the scoop. Don't make it safer for them. Just don't let it happen. Why is that so difficult? Of course, only logical question there is left is where the fuck are your parents? And I guess I'm going to assume, giving maximum benefit of the doubt, that Harley's parents do know about Harley's channel and they know vaguely that Harley's trying to help people, but I'm just gonna assume they don't know Harley is directly trying to talk to groomers on internet platforms as a teenager, because guess what? Good parents aren't proud of their kids talking to pedophiles. That's not a thing! Honestly, I'll take the uncomfortable laughing over just unabashed rage any day of the week, because I am going insane. Also, not willing to relive past trauma. I don't remember the context of this. I think this might have had to do with a fucking TV show or something, but I don't know, maybe if you are a supposed grooming victim, maybe talking to groomers when you're still in their grooming rage would be a good thing to avoid if you're not looking to relive your past trauma. mama. What? Also gotta love Harley fan logic. If you're criticizing a child, or even insulting them, that's antagonizing a child. They can talk to all the pedophiles they want. That's pretty based. They're pulling a mama max. Okay, it seems like people seem to think the age of criticism is a lot older than the age of consent. I don't know why. What is wrong with you people? What the fuck? You are probably all a bunch of stupid teens who are following another stupid teen. Also, okay, here's context. I'm going to zoom in. There we go. Harley, do you know what the fuck context is? I thought you used that like it's your favorite fucking word. What does anything I said have to do with cutting context? I just replied to something you said in a thread. How is that cutting context? But if we want to go by your logic, here's an example where you cut context by your own logic. Proof? Made some tweets like, OMG, someone get the FBI to support him. Okay, if rephrasing what someone said slightly simpler, or to emphasize the point you disagree with, is cutting context, then what the fuck do you think you just did? Also, for the context on that, that's a story for another day, holy shit. I'm not gonna pretend that I was entirely at the right of that one though, lol.
Harley, did you appreciate my burn? Bro, don't do the same mistake I did and antagonize a damn kid.
Hey,
smart!
Alec. Whoa, mama, haven't heard that one before.
You know, if you hate everything, bro, does that mean you hate yourself? 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 Does that mean you hate yourself?
Trust me, I had about as many examples as I ate everything did, but unfortunately, Mama Max fans on their way to protect the children just spammed a server with children full of gore, so I had to delete that. So once again, Mama Max fans, always looking out for the children, because that's their priority, clearly. Oh, holy shit, my avatar looks terrible. I'm a predator and your cock is now my— Okay! Moving on, Harley, Jesus Christ, get your ego in check. You're just a fucking stupid kid. At the very least, I agree with this take. So let's jump to probably their most praised, and I believe currently their most recent Cosmodore video. I could be mistaken. I don't really care enough to check because that means I'll watch even more Cosmodore videos I'll have even more problems with. Oh boy, fucking great! So I'm gonna spare myself the sanity, but there's something interesting about the next one because Harley's contacted Cosmodore at least twice. Woohoo!
And where the first time someone may have given me the benefit of the doubt, saying I did not know better, that maybe I wanted to keep it secret so my friends wouldn't leave me, that it was the result of bad influences, all of which is true. A second time, and especially a third time, that's not a coincidence.
Wait a second, play that again.
Especially a third time, that's not a coincidence.
Did he say a third victim? Wait, I'm in disbelief.
As you just saw, that's a third victim. I don't personally need any more proof. Just your past redemption even after one or maybe two if it's like a mess up or a misunderstanding or maybe some, I don't know, weird country laws, but Cosmodore even admits he's unforgivable, so really there's no reason for the following part I'm about to show you.
I decided to cut past me off because I was about to give Cosmodore some credit, saying that potentially there weren't ways for him to contact with minors anymore and that he wouldn't be responding to minors anymore, but on the build up to this video I decided to reach out to him, full well not expecting a response, because I believed, oh yeah, he's probably not going to be reading message responses, especially from minors anymore, and then he replied to me. He proved my point. This dude is not actually sticking with the words he's claiming. He says in his video that he's cut off all ways for people to contact him, all minors to be able to contact him, and he's still replying to minors when they message him.
Oh, congrats, Harley, you proved that Cosmodore is still bad after about 1,000 videos and 3 victims, and contacting him twice now, personally, as a minor. And from the looks of it, the second time you contacted him, not only am I unaware of any involvement with Nawnii or an adult even helping you here, the premise is that you knew it was a bad thing, you knew it was bad enough that that was what proved that Cosmodore's just has no redemption. So you know that Cosmodore talking to minors is a problem, and you use yourself as bait. So you basically admit what you did was kind of an issue. I mean, obviously nothing bad is gonna happen, but that was the bad thing that happened. Come on, you even know that. That's why it's a point in the first place. The whole point is what you did was wrong. I mean, obviously it was more on Cosmodore and much more, but still, that's stupid and foolish, and also your audience of stupid teenagers who probably want to be stupid teenage commentary channels who save the victims from evil grammars. They're gonna probably do the same shit. Everyone says the same shit about Cosmodore. There isn't much to be said. Maybe the other teenagers will do the same thing and like use themselves as bait and be like, hey Kazimazi, guess what? I'm in your DMs. Are you gonna reply? Oh, check out how bad this is. The premise is that it's bad. You agree. That was a point against Cosmodore. That you were in his DMs that he responded. So you know it's a problem. You understand why I had a problem in the first place. Because it is a problem. That's it. It is what it is. It's its own fucking issue. This whole time you knew it was wrong. You knew it was a bad idea. You knew it was probably potentially an issue for you. I'm fucking done. Apologies for not having the dates for this unlisted stream because I don't know if this occurred after or before Harley's final Cosmodore video. That time is actually kind of important, all things considered. But regardless, Harley was still defending it at that time. Harley's very adamant about defending that. But they knew it was bad. That's the entire premise. The cruel and bitter irony of this is how often Harley's fans defend them because they're kids. As you saw a little bit of. One of those people who defends Harley is the person who fucking helped enable one of these situations, because kids can't handle being called a cloud chaser, but talking to groomers, epic. And you know what, fuck it, let's talk more about that. Nawnii? I miss After Effects because that looked terrible. Wow, Fartley, such a humble, not cloud chaser. Very, very humble, down to earth, not egotistical title that totally won't age poorly in my next video discussing you. A big issue with this situation specifically is how much Harley, not just the title, but throughout the video, tries making it seem like I am the one who exposed them. It is because of me, how I exposed them when I was in a group chat with an adult who I don't know why it wasn't how they exposed them. I don't really understand. You were both in the chat for some reason. I don't really understand why Nawnii couldn't have been the one to do the exposing, or even from what I've seen, how it was more Harley than Nawnii doing it. Harley's like taking the credit, and I don't like how this is kind of almost an ego thing. Like, yes, I did it. I don't like this hero complexing with the fucking predator poachers. This never goes well, adults or teens or otherwise.
Komodachi dating a child is an incredibly bad thing for their mental health, and it shows that they could possibly do more with the child in the future, as they likely didn't see any issue with their wrongdoing. And that would be the actual case. As you see, I recently spoke to Komodachi, and I got them to admit to me, while in a group chat with Nawnii, about every single thing they did, and them knowing that it was wrong when they did it, and the excuses they made up after that so that they could try and get away with their criminal behavior.
And you know what? Maybe I'm inferring a bit too much. Maybe it isn't about ego or pride. Those are pretty small potatoes in the grand scheme of things, aside from maybe a potential motive on Harley's part. Here's something that is a bigger deal. After all, Harley insists they've exposed multiple predators. Nawnii did just as much in this situation as Harley, from what I can tell, and Nawnii was probably the only one who even needed to be there in the first place. In hindsight, there wasn't really much of a reason for Harley to be here, the child. This also shoots down the major theory that Harley needs to be the one to expose these people because I guess Harley's good at it, ignoring their wretched track record, which I'm going to discuss later, video down the line. I think the fact that Nawnii's here, and not just like filtering out messages, but just in the same group chat, just kind of proves that no, Harley's not even fucking necessary here. They admitted to me, and Nawnii.
Eventually, we did get into contact with Komodachi. Harley was there, and Kodo pretty much admitted that they understood that it was wrong by saying this. How can I say this? Actually, I searched that it was okay to date a 13, but I didn't research any further. All it says that you can date them socially, but there's no sexual interaction. It was irresponsible. So I responded with, the fact that you would feel the need to go out of your way to look something up like that should really be a red flag in your brain. If you have to look up if something is legal, it's probably not illegal.
So, Nawnii, I have one last question for you. Why bring the minors at all?
I don't care!
Every fucking small commentary channel on planet Earth talked about this stupid fucking video. Harley was on the right track of basically saying, yes, drawings becoming victimized is not as bad as actual children. Hot take, oh my god. We're gonna cancel Moist Critical next? I guess we are. There's a lesson from this. Okay, the lesson is, your past will follow you.
Small commentators are notoriously bad at covering predator allegations, not just because there's so many small commentators that it's more obvious that more are going to make mistakes, but also because they haven't established themselves as creators and are less trustworthy, also because normally when you're a smaller commentator you're either quite young, or because you haven't grown your channel yet because you're new to content creation, which is why we have so many situations where smaller commentators mess up very serious allegations and end up leaving themselves in situations where they get blasted by most of the community and they never gain back any of the credibility they lost.
I hope you guys understand my accusations about ego here, and the clip I just played from, of course, a clip from a small commentary channel responding to Harley, who happened to be an adult, and somehow this literal child is telling other children mostly how to do and how not to do predator allegations, because, you know, they mess, even though Harley's basically admitted to even messing up, not just the obvious stuff, but even the Cosmodore stuff at the start.
So today's video is a follow-up to yesterday's video where I went over Cosmodore's response to all the allegations made against him. And I introduced that video by mentioning how I hadn't completely looked into the situation. However, now I have, and Cosmodore is even worse than I thought he was. Way worse. So I decided I'd make a video on that today. But before we begin,
generally, Harley telling anyone else not to do allegations, especially groups that include adults, is the fucking funniest thing I've ever seen in my life. I hate the name, but go give the channel named Dummy Thick Boy video on the topic a watch. It's a good watch. Since Harley's favorite word in the world that they don't know the definition of is context, let's make sure we give enough of it, boys. First of all, is this comment, no one's stupid yet, so I don't have much to add. And one fartly comment in, I'm wanting to blow my brains out. So, I guess Harley's going to speed run all the obnoxious tropes and commentary because Harley's too much of a stupid teenager to actually think, so they just borrow words and techniques that other older idiots than them use a lot, so they're just gonna regurgitate them without thinking. For example, the context argument. 18 and 15 in a high school yes, 18 and 15-year-olds, they go to high school. That doesn't impact things at all, especially since Zaptie, the example Tech is using, was not with people within their same high school, okay? Some of them, but, you know, not all of them, because Zaptie had a lot of bitches. So if this is the great context argument I'm always told to fear, then this is fucking ridiculous. Then, to add to the insufferableness, Harley tries and fails to act coy after passive-aggressively saying, let's keep it factual, after something that's always implied is that yes, 15 to 18 is in a high school context, I guess? What? But God forbid Tech respond because, oh no, now you're just trying to insult me. Wow. I was just trying to make sure Augie wasn't being taken out of context. I don't even agree with what he's saying. Really? Massive yikes from you. I used to respect you. Harley lost respect for someone they used to admire because of their terrible judgment? It must be fucking Tuesday.
I also met a lovely fellow called Prison Mate Lou. I thought he was pretty nice, but obviously my experiences with Luke haven't been as peachy as I'd have hoped.
Yeah, just by the way, if Harley respects you, that probably means your channel is going to fucking die 6 months down the line from a really terrible drama. Just saying. Technicals, the Chad, said, and I never respected you. You're annoying. True. Harley. I didn't ask, lol. Okay, what else are you supposed to say? Not this. But consider you will cut anyone you don't like out of context to paint them in an incredibly uncharitable ways. I don't really want your respect, nor will I make the mistake of respecting you again. Seriously though, guys, like this fucking kid, the people they respect are so, like, if you want to jump on a drama early, start shit with someone Harley respects, because I'm sure there's a fucking gold mine there. Their track record is terrible. This is seriously what I hate about the out of context argument whenever it's used. Usually it's not used to refer to something surrounding what someone said that was actually forgotten that completely changes what they said. No, usually what it means is they cut out completely redundant statements. Like, I don't know. Ooh, high school context, 15, 18. They're in high school, especially since this is in the case of a joke. But jokes have a point to them. Yes, Technical has made that point very clear like 100 times. This is a stupid gotcha and it's disingenuous as hell. But, your speed running isn't doing that well. I mean, you got the yikes on pretty early. You're doing that. You're really hammering in the out of context argument, Harley. But you gotta up your game with this speed run. You gotta speed run it faster, buddy. I mean, Technicals is talking about something that's basically unrelated to the conversation, so you have a fresh start. Come on, Harley. Come on. You can really fucking speed run this that's the last bit. Get the world fucking record. Anyways, for the speedrun of LA Epicness, I retweeted my reply so people know where I stand on it. Seeing your comment once is enough for people to see it. What? And so you can't take me out of funny context and make me out to be supporting an argument I'm not. Wait, Harley, I thought Augie was the one being taken out of context because I thought you thought he was somehow high school context versus 18-15 makes difference somehow, I guess. I didn't retweet the I don't care lol because it was a comeback and it doesn't matter. My arguments do. No, they don't. Rethink this, tech. Okay, good stuff. Okay, shifting stuff around, that's pretty good. But come on, the real winner, the real fucking winner, the thing that makes this one of the world record shortest threads to ever get every commentary cliche in the shortest amount of time ever, is this one. Stop trying to attack everyone who criticizes you. Okay, right off the bat, great shit right there. First of all, the can't take criticism argument, always great. Especially when it's used in a context where it's like, he's criticizing you, you're attacking him, why can't he attack you? When he attacks you, it's called attacking everyone who criticizes you. When you attack him, called criticizing them. You're all calling his brother a pedophile. That's not attack though, I guess that's just constructive criticism. I'm putting words in your mouth. Okay, choose fucking better words. How else am I supposed to take this shit? Oh my god. Seriously, I hate the whole thing where it's like, if someone criticizes you and you respond, you can't take criticism. Even if it's mockery, it's like, you can't take a joke, bitch. Anyways, sentence number 2. It makes you out to be a scummy dude, and it will damage your rep in the long run. Ooh, the reputation. Harley's track record is fantastic, guys. I don't even dislike you. Oh, that one, I haven't seen that one since like 2018. This one's a classic. It's the I'm shitting on you and everything you stand for, and I'm really not ever nice to you. Remember the whole I used to respect you, but I've never seen a Harley comment about that prior, and this is doubling down on that. I don't even dislike you. Your brother's a pedophile, you take everyone out of context, you're sleazy, I'm calling you a liar, you're a pedo defender, you're a hypocrite, but I don't dislike you. I just disagree with you. And I'm calling you a liar right now, which is basically what taking someone out of context is. A long form of it's basically lying through omission. You're losing everyone associated with you in this community. Oh, what a fucking tragedy. The commentary community. What a great fucking place that is. And burning a bridge. It's a bad idea. I left my comment in there because it's epic, it's space. I don't regret fucking anything in that comment. Boom. I think it really goes to show that not once did HarleyTBS explain how it's taken out of context, or what context Harley even mentioned changed. They mentioned out of context like 3 times. Wasn't explained once. Maybe I missed a reply with a rando in the comments. Who knows? Maybe I took them out of context there because I didn't see it. Or maybe Harley got an ego trip after accusing prison mate Luke of taking them out of context because everyone else in the community made actually good videos properly explaining how stuff was taken out of context. I mean, this entire section was just Harley regurgitating commentary buzzwords and phrases that they don't know what they mean, and just further proof that Harley's judgment for people is not great. And that's extra not great when you're a teen talking to nonces online, and have already allegedly been groomed. I'm not gonna get into that, that's a bit too touchy of a subject. But even ignoring the darker stuff, Harley's judgment of people is just terrible. What next? Is Harley gonna fall for a fictional murderer whose kills have been shown to the world because, I don't know, they say trans rights or something? Hey now! That's an offensive thing to say. It's not like it would happen. Wait, what the fuck? Wait, Chucky killed their gender fluid kid in the movie. Oh my god, Harley, you got manipulated by known murderer corporate puppet. How do you do that? Now back to Technical's situation. Now that Augie has said that he'll basically never forgive Technicals, he's of course forgiven Technicals. There's a bunch of deleted screenshots that I don't have any context for. Congratulations for deleting it. Anyways, I'm just gonna assume those are jokes. But there's plenty of stuff I could go over, and I think I am going to go over a little bit more of some John Swan stuff, since he was the most important party not included in Keemstar gay-ass little ceasefire that preceded World War III. No joke there. That's a little ironic, but whatever. Yeah, it kind of makes everyone look like they don't have many values. Oh no, I'll never forgive you. Oh no, we're no longer going to be working together. Isn't that right, Technicals? Or Augie? Or whoever the fuck? Just none of this shit matters. All the internet shit is just... nothing really matters, even though you're talking about crimes and... I guess nowadays, you know how commentary logic goes. If it's more than a week, it's cancel culture for bringing it up unless we're doing it against you. So, basically, wow, it's all resolved now. Oh, it's all resolved now. Oh my. Oh my god, bringing up these people that I'm fine with and defended who, like, want to fuck 14-year-olds? Literally cancel culture. I don't know much about the statute of limitations, but I don't think it's before the quartering would call something cancel culture. But, you know, maybe I'm wrong on this. Maybe I'm wrong. Who knows? Who knows? Really, who knows? You know, I wish people's values kind of meant a rat's ass more than start one of the worst people ever making a contract everyone needs to be in agreement for in a secret cabal-like discussion because, oh no, Tech might befriend H3H3. I want his only ally to be Deafness or some other idiot. I know, I'm talking a lot about stuff that you guys resolved and can't even talk about anymore. It's a real shame since I'm talking shit about both of you and I can't even find a lot of this evidence for these specific accusations, or at least I'm too lazy to. But you feel free to correct me and break your stupid peace treaty, but you won't. So, fuck off. That's one good thing about the treaty is gives other people a lot of power over you. They can talk shit about a lot of things that you don't want to discuss because you'll break whatever coercive treaty Keemstar secretly put you to. seriously does feel like tech is forced, because he still frequently disagrees on Augie about the same shit, but he's just not as aggressive anymore, and he's still very aggressive on John Swan, who thinks that he should have thrown his brother under the bus. You don't understand how family works because you're a creepy sociopath. I don't care that I don't have a diagnosis. How about this for a diagnosis? Fuck off, Swan. Or Nicholas Deorio, that when he's corrected, he just blocks someone because they point out misinformation. Also, a lot of the stuff involving Zero that Technicals brought up was partially in order to say that, hey, Nairo's objectively worse. And, you know, from what I've been seeing, I don't know much about the situation, but if what I hear is true, that's a lot worse. It's funny because essentially Technicals' career has been about the Smash community double standard, but now it's the commentary community's double standard. For 5 minutes, now they're butt buddies again, because audiences are small brained, so they think forgiveness means a lot on the internet instead of just, you know, fucking optics. Speaking of comparing the commentary community to other communities, I think the T community is basically the same thing, which means they have the same problems. I'm not gonna make a whole fucking video on that. There's plenty where that came from. So I'm just literally going to steal Redski's segment.
Money! 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 Money!
The other video in Repzilla's flag history that caught my eye was a video called Repzilla Defends His Discord Buddies from Crows of Judgment. The video was a Repzilla parody clowning on him over the situation where an adult who would talk sexually with minors was in his Discord server. A Discord server, I should add, that Repzilla advertised as being a secure and safe place for people to be. Just so you know, a Discord server at the highest security only requires a verified phone number to be linked to the Discord account, which is what most people already have. Repzilla, I know you say the issues have been fixed, which is convenient since I was told that you deleted a ton of the channels on there when you were being criticized for the Sammy Vapors stuff this year, but I know that really hasn't changed anything, considering I know a lot of people who have easily gotten in on alt accounts without a problem. Anyway, let's get on to the Sammy Vapor Studios situation. Sammy Vapor Studios was a person who came into the Crows of Judgment server after he saw them do an anime stream, and later joined Steve DeLive's server as well. Regardless of what your thoughts are of Steve, he did play a huge role in outing Sammy for being the sick person he is, so just hear me out for this. Steve and Sammy got into a fight one day in Steve's server after Sammy got mad at Steve's wording after Sammy asked him if he wanted to play action figures. This led to Sammy getting kicked from the server due to spam. Steve went into Sammy's personal server later on due to him hearing rumors that Sammy was trying to get a bunch of people to make hit pieces on him. Instead of finding gossip messages about him when he joined, Steve was met with messages of Sammy exchanging hentai with a bunch of minors. After he archived everything, Steve brought the evidence he needed to Crow, who then banned Sammy Vapor from his server. After the evidence was shared around, people who previously associated with Sammy turned on him and made videos on the situation. Sometime later, Crow received an anonymous tip-off that Sammy was actively interacting with people in Repzilla's server. This was shared because at the time there was bad blood between Repzilla and the Crows of Judgment. Crow made a tweet warning Repzilla about Sammy being in his server and included the evidence of him being a creep towards children. After being notified, Repzilla actually did remove Sammy from the server, and that was that. What makes things strange is that when he was on blast for the Eugenius stuff, I called him out on what happened with Sammy and pointed out how he needed to hold himself to the same standard he holds others to, something I still stand by. The old tweet from Crow resurfaced, and Repzilla was put on blast for the hypocrisy. In response, Repzilla denied Sammy being a predator even though he was shown the evidence before and even took action against it. Instead, he blamed Sammy as being a troll account run by Steve, later denying that Sammy even existed, until Steve confronted him in DMs and caught him in a lie. This is something common with Repzilla, where he will either deny something was ever said or happened until put in the spot where he can't lie anymore, or he goes the extra mile to hide anything that might give him a negative perception. I know he's going to say he flagged the video because Crow most likely threw insults at him, but anyone who knows how Repzilla operates at this point knows he flagged it to avoid the situation getting talked about. Speaking of Repzilla not talking about things, it would be a waste to have a video this long and not bring up how the man who prides himself on bringing awareness ignored an opportunity to bring awareness about an actual pedophile. Now, I know no creator is obligated to cover everything their audience wants, but Repzilla gave these girls false hope by acknowledging the situation when he was sent evidence. It all started back when Repzilla took a Twitter user named Dissociative's tweet out of context and used it in a video about Eugenia Cooney, framing the tweet as if it was telling her not to get help. A friend of Dez's left a comment with a timestamp of when the tweet was shown and pointed out that the tweet was used out of context. They further point out how he ignored messages from a mutual friend of theirs named Reese in regards to Dez being groomed by now former content creator Asman. These messages were sent to him via his Instagram, which he links in the description of his videos for where people could contact him about video topics. Conveniently, he has since removed the link, most likely due to the criticism he received for ignoring what was sent to him. If you want more details in regards to the Asman situation, I covered the situation and the thread that Dez posted on both Toy Bounty Hunters and Xylee Gets Real's streams. I will also post a link to the Twitter thread itself. It's also important to note that this this info was first sent to Belle Aubrey in January of 2021, who said she was sharing it with Repzilla.
There's plenty more good stuff to see in that video, but I want to give a huge shout out to Redski for making such a banger of a video. If you hate commentary or if you hate T-channels, check it out, it's a good watch. I'm pretty sure longtime viewers might be kinda shocked with this video already. I don't have many, but I'm sure they're still shocked because I don't deal in allegations, I deal in fact, and usually when there's allegations, I'm like, no, wait for it, or I'm like, no, you're wrong. Usually I'm kind of on playing defense, when today I've been a lot more offense, so I do gotta say, one thing is that I pretty much don't believe a serious accusation until either all sides agree that something happened that I disapprove of, or the legal system did it, which an example would be Scrimzox. Though the law said they're innocent in some regards, the stuff Scrimzox admitted to I think is bad enough for me to call disgusting. I'm going to deal with a lot of rumors, and I'm not even going to drop names because they're rumors, because I'm hearing an uncomfortable amount of degeneracy in the underbelly of commentary lately. That's when you know a community's fucked, is when it's not the rare infamous case that gets blasted to thousands, but little pockets of degeneracy so vast and elusive you can't puncture them all. Hopefully commentary doesn't head into the latter territory. I'm sure there's dozens of examples that I don't even know about, because my aim in life isn't to stalk children with small subcounts to make sure they aren't fucking up pedo allegations. But there was one example that someone showed me, and good God, it was a mess. Now, this is also just an allegation because I foolishly did not download the video because now it's private. I don't know how much of it's confirmed or not. I don't always trust the source who told me this, but a lot of this horseshit was clear in the video when it was up, such as teens interviewing yet another pedo and fucking up the case later on. Hey teen dipshits, even if you're not dumb enough to get groomed by a known groomer like Harley so eloquently said, or offended if someone says you're dumb to be groomed in general, okay, what is the community opinion that's offensive to call someone dumb for getting groomed unless they're known? Is that it? What? But kids are dumb. Whatever, this is also fucked. Okay, whatever. So even if you're not getting groomed, every adult who handles these cases fucks it up legally when they expose it publicly. Even Chris Hansen does, and he's Chris Hansen, and his show was To Catch the Predator. He isn't even good at being Chris Hansen anymore. Apparently he never was. So stop pretending it, dipshits online. The privated video itself admitted to faking some screenshots to, I guess, meme or trick the predator, but there were also real screenshots. Wow, great going guys, muddying the water right off the bat. Can't really double check since once again, it doesn't publicly exist anymore, but I do have circumstantial evidence of my response to it around that time. But given that I don't have proper evidence, use your independent thinking caps and don't necessarily believe everything I say, because trust me bro, it was right here isn't a very good explanation. The tone was basically a giant shitpost screwing everything up. Went into more detail on my community post from a year back, but this proves that smaller channels are hopping on the stupid to catch a predator fashion. Also, this dude just admitted false allegations just to flex on how gullible and stupid the entire CC was, and how they spun into pedo allegations, and the initial user didn't even believe that. An entire community shamed someone for not believing in a troll. Yeah, I know, Tommy C, so old, such cancel culture. Cancel culture is when you accidentally let a bunch of titty diddlers run free into another country and accidentally get child porn sent to you. That's cancel culture. It was 3 years ago though. Once again, when it gets legal, I don't trust commentary channels crying about cancel culture because they were called out for something they did 5 minutes ago. How about the statute of fucking limitations? I prefer that one. When Technicals was going after the commentary community, he basically admitted that he was going against them out of spite, not to dismiss his actual points, which were pretty good. He acts as rude as them just to combat them, and got pretty vicious and persistent. Despite this, I've heard plenty of people saying Technicals is going very easy on them. There's a reason why. Technicals wasn't bringing up one specifically horrible event. Now they've screwed the pooch on more than one allegation way more than I can count. There's a biggie. People being surprised that these channels fuck up so often between this and Pyro shouldn't, because some basically got popular via something called #WakeUpInstagram. Other early successes like being victimized by tiny women false flagging them also contributed to their dignified track record of commentary badasses. But Wake Up Instagram was a failed attempt to expose Instagram's CP issue, and someone opened up the CP honeypot stream or something, someone else got a folder. Some people debate on who opened it, and some people debate on a lot of facts, and there's a lot of ambiguity in the situation. I don't know, actually. A lot of the info on these serious allegations have been kind of tough to uncover. And I don't know if I want to try looking for some of this too hard, or I'll end up in the same place Boblax was a few years back. ThatChosenRebornGuy's the expert. I'll let him take the reins.
The Wake Up Instagram situation was a collaboration of Junior Chris Hansen's and Failing trying to expose Instagram for having a mega file of CP on their platform. The members of this task force of Nimrons were Boblax, Charmskull, Twoon, Andy Worski, Ethan Ralph, and a porn star named Indigo White. Yes, you heard me correctly. After discovering that there was CP on Instagram, they spent 5 days trying to figure out the best way to make clout off the situation. This resulted in Andy Worski streaming his reaction of CP alongside Ethan Ralph before Twoon's video even came out. This resulted in the community finding out before they could unveil the clout myth. But wait, it actually gets worse. It was later discovered on AugieRFC's stream that they didn't even contact the authorities. Twoon made it adamantly clear that the authorities were contacted. However, it was Charmed Skull who had basically came out and said, "We only reported this to the Internet Watch Foundation," or as Twoon said in his video,
"We reported this to the Internet Police."
And the consequence for not reporting this to the authorities resulted in kitty diddlers getting away and basically no one getting any clout from the situation, only hate. And that's about it for the Instagram wake up situation.
Holy shit, Chosen even edited for me. I guess I owe a third person a favor now. But seriously, thank you guys all so much for contributing to this video. Made it a lot stronger than it was otherwise, since I can't know all this shit. Anyways, wow. Okay, so people seriously still trust these assholes? You guys can see how this stuff just straight up helps nonces more than hurt them. Same shit with EDP, but at least those are just like rumors. And there are rumors of EDP's case opening an investigation. This is just a failure that everyone involved admits was a failure. Admitting failure is nice, but fucking up this hard that you accidentally pardoned a bunch of nonces is a mistake 99% of the population has never made. That is a fuck up so huge, that's enough for you to just never be trusted about anything serious ever again, given how badly you guys fucked up. Pyro, Zaptie, Zero, and a bunch of other cases. Yeah, maybe you shouldn't be trusted with anything again, but once again, there's a lot of shit I can't verify unless I prove it. So in the next couple segments, I'll verify what I can in TommyC and Nicholas Deorio's responses after I discredited both of them as a source. Okay, so there might be some structural problems with my video.
So yes, I don't trust any of you, and I highly advise my fan base not to give you guys the time of day, because you are, all of you, Augie, Tipster, and fucking Bobbax, the type of people that I've been exposing for fucking 3 years now.
Listen, I'm gonna be honest with you. I'm kind of retarded.
That's how you know you fucked up. I never fretted to call the police. I should have though. I never fretted to call the police. I should have though. I never fretted to call the police. I should have though.
Expose, 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 expose.
Or maybe even better, we reported this to the Internet Police.
Expose.
The ones who are supposed to help with this stuff directly.
You're exposed. You're exposed. You are exposed. Exposed, 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 exposed. You are exposed, sir. I'm going to expose you. Expose you. Oh my god, expose you. Exposed. 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 Exposed.
And on the profiles, these girls have their high school named and stuff. Man, there just needs to be one creep who wants to do something.
So why couldn't you just use that high school name to get a location to find a local police department and report them yourselves? Oh, right. There's not a lot of views in that.
You are exposed, sir. I'm going to expose you. Expose you. Oh my god, expose you.
Jesus, that's so sad, man.
Yeah,
From
that's-
autism, like how bad was the autism?
Jesus, Anthony.
I'm just saying, like, imagine you're like.
Well, that explains a lot. Also, great first impression of the Goon Squad with TommyC there. Now, Tommy's video itself was 5 hours long, so there's a lot to go over in it. But there was another interesting part that people don't seem to discuss, which is that 15-year-old Harless was also involved in the situation and in a lot of these idiots' Discord chat. At 15 years old, while the adults are screwing up the pedo shit, they're bringing a child along for, like, basically no discernible reason. Why? I mean, I can't trust the adults. Why should I trust the kid?
The
Sniper,
the Just Destiny warlord,
Cobra Commander.
Yeah.
What's up, dog?
Oh, shit.
So what do you think of
Welcome.
Twoon now?
I mean, I was in that whole Discord chat, but
Whoa!
I was like busy
Whoa!
in school.
Whoa! Whoa! Whoa!
Well, I was just gonna be a context, you know.
You were in the Discord chat.
Wasn't massively like seeing anything really, but I was there to like
Wait,
give my
who are
opinions
you?
on that.
First of all, you can't do that. I'm gonna offer you a way out of this. You can walk, and we'll let it be. But if you continue, you have to tell me who you were in the Discord with and what it was about right now, because that's not fair.
Okay.
Mhm. Let it go, kid.
Speak the truth.
All right.
So it was more of a not about the files. There's a lot of that in the chat.
I
but
didn't
wasn't
say that.
looking at 'em.
I'm sorry. I'm gonna have to be hard on you this time. You're not a guest this time. You're a caller. Who, what, where, when, and how?
Well, I can't tell you when, but I think it might have been a couple of days ago since the group chat was deleted. But I was talking to Toon, Scully, Augie, Boblacks, and this northern girl from Leeds. I forgot her name now.
Okay.
But essentially, we're talking about these two people. That one of them was a moderator on Toon's Discord. She was 16. Oh, I think maybe 15, 16 in a couple of days.
Mm-hmm.
And she was going to fly out with this 21-year-old from America. And they were going to get Child Protective Services involved. And that's the story that I've looked at. But about this file thing, I don't even know where it came from, but I heard them speaking about it, but I don't know much on that topic.
Okay. Is all you guys do look for, like, pedo stuff? I mean, is that
I mean, I was added to it because I'd been speaking to Toon about the thing, because obviously about the Just Destiny situation and that.
Okay.
He wanted to clarify to me that, like, he's not exploiting children in his videos, and in fact trying to help them.
You think he might have been
So he
getting
was
you not
so
to
he
make
was
a video?
scared you were
of
gonna
it?
call him out next.
Are you
or
calling
what?
Most
him out?
likely, then. Yeah, I think so. That wasn't what I was gonna do, but
You
I
think he was
that's
trying
probably
to
why I
get you
messaged
not
him.
to do it to him?
Yeah, I think that. I mean, I talked to him. He's all right. I played a few games of Fortnite.
I got to be honest with you. I got to call you out a little bit, kiddo. This, what I'm looking at right here, this is no better. This is no better or worse than what Just Destiny did. Nothing. I don't know how
Far
he's a
worse
good
than what
guy
Just
and
Destiny
Destiny
did.
isn't.
It's far worse.
In relation to what I'd said in my Just Destiny video, I think this is a very different situation.
How?
Well, this is about how Toon acted when he found all this information out, rather than going to police and waiting. He
What
made a
about
video
these
on it.
thumbnails?
Well, I honestly don't know. Because what's said in the videos, there's some concern about the girls and some actual research done, which just Destiny was just
Culinary
insulting
thought,
blah blah.
Culinary thought, it's the same thing. I don't see a difference at all.
I believe that Tuna had some concern for the girls. That's why I
Based
saw.
on.
Oh, he sent me like research he'd done and that, which for just Destiny I'd not known anything.
How old are you?
To be fair, it just kind of sounds like you're covering for him a little bit.
Yeah, I gotta be honest with you.
What?
Yeah, it does, kiddo. And how old are you?
Well, I didn't want to come on the call and backstab him, because that wouldn't
Well,
be very
here's
fair.
the thing. When you call out somebody else publicly, like Just Destiny, you can't sit there and let your buddy go that's doing the same shit.
Where was that energy with Vito, Tommy? Why were you infinitely more based in 2019 than you are now?
Just because you play Fortnite with him doesn't mean he's not doing the same thing.
You can't do that, especially
I mean,
in a
are we
live show.
wrong here?
This is a live show. I mean, how old are you, Cobra?
Yeah.
How old are you?
Oh, you lagged out. I'm 15.
All right, I'm gonna let you go. All right. I gotta be honest with you. I mean, this. I like you. I like it a lot. I appreciate you coming on, but.
I just want to add a bit more truth. You know, there's a different side of the story as well. Like
Okay,
it's not
fair
only
enough.
just what was in that video.
Fair enough. I'm having a feeling you're gonna have to tell in the next couple days. So get ready. And this is not my fault. This is what you said on my program. All right?
Yet the commentary community's great priorities with children strikes again. Why are grown men arguing with little kids? This is all pretty pathetic, even for Tommy. Instead, little kids are in fucking discords where these idiotic adults try and fail to expose predators on the internet and apparently accidentally shared what was probably a child porn file. But yeah, I'm glad our priorities are straight. I'm glad we're focusing on the neurodivergent minors getting to arguments online. They can't handle that pedo hunting. Good luck there. Oh, they can talk and expose all the groomers and DMs they want, but how dare Prisonbait Luke call them a clout chaser? Shut the fuck up. Seriously, the whole stream is just nothing but incrimination.
That's what should happen.
Yeah, that's pretty much what did happen. So basically,
Wait, so you opened the folder?
No, it's not. You opened the folder?
I didn't specifically open the folder.
Who opened the folder?
Who did? So you're saying that someone did?
I'm not going to say that publicly. They want to be anonymous.
Oh, so they were lying then. So someone did open the folder.
Somebody did lie.
Because on the stream, it was said that nobody opened the folder. You guys just assumed if that was in it because based off of what the file names were.
No. Okay, so fuck, I'm off track now. What?
Are you understand what I'm saying though?
Yeah. Okay.
Like
so
you're saying nobody opened the folder, or you don't want to drop names.
So
but if
there
you're
was-
saying you don't want to do that, that's not the same thing as.
There was two aspects to this. Okay, there's the mega folder, which is obviously illegal, and we send this to the authorities, and that's what we did.
Yeah, we did. So you say
and
now?
Then there's okay, and then there's the Instagram thing where basically there's basically borderline CP on Instagram, which like yeah, it's really bad. I saw it, and we were trying to report it, and they came back saying we're not gonna close these accounts or whatever, and they're getting away with this stuff and facilitating an environment that's not good for these girls where they're like selling their underage nudes and all that. And
You
that is what
realize
the
that
video is
Instagram's-
about, and that's what we were gonna make YouTube videos about, not the.
No, but that's not what the question
When you
was.
report-
you said that somebody opened the folder. Who opened the folder?
I'm not saying that.
Somebody did, and then you lied on Augie's stream. Then we know that now.
I don't know if someone opened the folder or not. I
Yeah,
never
but that's
saw
not what he
someone
said in
open the
Augie's
folder.
stream. That's
What
not
is
what he...
borderline CP? Define that.
Or like, okay, so on Instagram they post pictures where they're literally topless, just covering their nipples. Basically, like, it's.
Probably
I mean,
not even CP. Probably not even illegal. I bet. Good job.
it's not allowed on Instagram due to their TOS.
Yeah, well,
and they're using
you
it.
guys
to
are real big
sell-
heroes.
sell their
Fucking
nudes.
Instagram is bleeding.
Yeah, buddy. I mean, what I'm hearing here is something that got blown up way crazy. You know what I'm saying? Like the fucking Dude, Instagram, they probably read that shit and they were like, yeah, okay, join the fucking club, back of the line, guy.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like, this Instagram, man, I can't go through my shit without trying to fucking block these fucking children and all these, whatever the fuck's going on over there.
Lawyer, Bobax, hit me up after the call.
What?
Alright, boys and girls, pay attention to the disclaimer, all typos involved.
If I make any mistakes in covering this story, opinions, or I leave out any minor parts of the story, please excuse me. This topic is very convoluted and the story has changed far too many times. It is impossible to follow with absolute precision and I don't know for sure what every single person involved was thinking 100% of the time. Please enjoy.
Hey, Nicholas Deorio, we in this shit, son?
In the early 2000s, Chris Hansen's show To Catch a Predator aired on Dateline NBC. Even though it's been 12 years since the show was cancelled, if you logged into YouTube in the beginning of 2019, you would be very surprised at what you're looking at. 2019, the year of the pedophile. This title comes from debunking allegations of the YouTuber Just Destiny to the social climbing disaster that was the #WakeUpYouTube movement by Matt's What It Is. It just seems like less and less qualified people have been taking the wheel of the mystery machine so Scooby and the gang can catch one of those pesky child diddlers. That's where our boy Twoon comes in. Twoon, Charmskull, and Boblax were just some of the people involved in the absolute disaster that unfolded last week called #InstagramWakeUp. The under 21 pedophile takedown task force went on to embarrass themselves and allow for actual criminals to escape with absolutely no consequence. But this is a story for the ages, and I'm getting ahead of myself. This was all by accounts Twoon's odyssey, or even legacy.
Not just Instagram, to be honest, what Discord did, well, I don't want, I'm not gonna lie, I don't want to give Discord too much shit, because I like the platform and I don't want massive changes to happen to their algorithm and stuff, but there should be
Well, I
obvious
mean, if there's
changes to the way-
pedophiles on the platform, you know.
Twoon, in what can only be described as an attempt to recreate the success of the #WakeUpYouTube movement, coined by Matt's What It Is, created a near identical video on the platform Instagram, right down to the hashtag in the middle of the adpocalypse before Disney has even re-established their ads on the platform. This is a literal parody of the Matt What It Is video.
No, it's obviously not. And I also think, by the way, that Matt What It Is, his message was wrong, but like I said in the video, the intentions are right.
The intention was to fuck creators. He said that live. Boblax reported it. Keemstar retweeted it.
Awesome. That's so awesome right now. That is great. That's great. That hits them where it hurts.
This was done in an attempt to capitalize off the recent success and admittedly to push the blame off of YouTube and onto Instagram.
That I did want YouTube to look good, and I'm pretty sure that every creator can agree with me on the fact that Instagram is way worse than YouTube, and YouTube doesn't get away with anything. So as a YouTube creator, I also did want to support the YouTube community, and that's obviously some of self-gain as well.
Twoon eventually locates what he believes and interprets as a pedophile ring live on Instagram. I won't be showing any of that on this video, as it's better left to professionals. And if you want to see what those professionals look like, I'll leave a link to the stream that is titled Andy Warski and Ethan Ralph Review Child Porn Archives, where they get into the actual content of the Instagram pedophile ring.
Unlike good old Tommy Boy, who was mostly shitting on Boblax here, Nick was mostly shitting on Twoon. That's not to say that Boblax didn't have many gems in the comment section, or that Nick didn't shit on Boblax as well. Seriously, how did I have so much content against Boblax in 2020 yet I didn't even know jack shit about Wake Up Instagram? Also, wow, there was a stream where they said they were looking at the child porn archives. I've heard Augie said that they didn't actually look up the images on stream, but I'm not gonna double check because I feel like I don't want to see that shit personally. So I'll let the viewer just decide, just fucking decide. We can't prove anything. It's all alleged, and if you do want to make it confirmed, then you're gonna go to jail. That's all I'm gonna say.
Porn star named Indigo Eclipse got possession of the story involving child porn and then enlisted the help of the Ralph Retort, a parolee, and Andy Warski, a coke fiend. Now, there are reports that Boblox handed this off directly to Warski, and that's hilarious, don't get me wrong.
Okay, well, I spoke to Andy last night, alright? Andy told me that Betaflex did give him the information, so I tweeted at Betaflex, and I said, good job working with Andy Warski to get this story out. And guess who retweeted it? Andy Warski. Betaflex did. Twitter.
It's on his Twitter. Let me load it up right now.
Twitter. You go to his Twitter right now.
No. And he's even admitted there was an actual plan that actually existed.
So yeah, we had a specific plan with Andy, and you were mostly in contact with him. I knew it was going on, but I was busy with like another drama when you guys actually discussed everything.
But whether you gave it directly to the Coke Fiend or you used the porn star as a middleman, it is irrelevant, because at the end of the day, the porn star, the Coke Fiend, and the parolee fired up a stream to take down the pedophiles. And that's where this story begins to spiral and get very confusing.
As Nick has stated, there is ambiguity and contradicting things in this story. Everyone agrees it was a complete failure, but stuff like whether certain people had possession or opened up CP of one of them bought from Instagram, that's left up to debate at this rate.
In true Warski fashion, like nobody who could have predicted, he essentially stole the story out from directly under them and went live before Twoon was able to release his video, and shocked everyone except me apparently, who called bullshit from the very beginning. However, multiple creators still promoted and even shouted out Andy. The result, as you can imagine, was less than satisfactory. As a result of the stream, many of the pedophiles closed their accounts entirely, and the evidence they had was deleted from the mega upload file, which Twoon explains was cached and can be brought back at any time. We'll store that one for later. It was at this point when Andy Warski declared victory across Twitter, and hours later, Twoon's video was finally released to universal success. Or so we thought.
I do not understand how this shit is up. How the fuck is it up? So let's make clear that this shit shouldn't be up. Just like we had the hashtag YouTube wake up, let's start hashtag Instagram wake up.
So what you're probably thinking is that this story doesn't sound all that bad. I mean, surely, it was shaky and some questionable decisions were made. However, there's a happy ending. Those pedophiles are caught and it's over, right? Well, I wasn't satisfied with that answer, and in the hours to follow, it would seem my suspicions were about to uncover some details that were missing from the original story. Now that I've given you the blanket explanation, let me tell you the actual outcome and explain what else had gone wrong. The op failed, the pedophiles got free, and the only ones who were exposed were the victims.
Back to Boblox. I mean, he did continue to make much less severe but similar mistakes in his future career, declaring 3 different dramas as over with his commentary bros winning. Once again, sound familiar? One of them involved Pyro's groomer allegation. I think Boblox has finally learned his lesson, but he should have learned to never talk about this content again. The first failure, or at least declare victory after this disastrous failure. Really, just quite an impressive feat of disaster, and these people, they never fucking learn. Or when they do, it's after like 3 years of doing shit that normal people don't even think of. Even the best people in this situation, Tommy and Nikki, all ended up falling off hardcore a lot later down the line, as I've already shown in this video. So just don't listen to idiots online for anything of this sort. Anything. Only listen to professionals. Honestly. You don't even need to bring this shit to the internet. There's no good reason to. Listen to the professional. Don't listen to me all video. Seriously. Don't listen to idiots online. I count as an idiot online, even if you trust me. I appreciate it if you trust me, but seriously, this stuff, I'm not a professional. So don't trust me on this stuff. All you need to trust me for is the non-legal stuff, which is that these people are idiots and also dangerously reckless with the kids they constantly claim to protect. Yet somehow, even as I write this script, things are constantly getting worse. You know, I had a script for this, but I don't even want to talk about just this. What happened? Okay. So remember Pieman? I'm just gonna say he messed up predictably badly, very badly, in ways that were similar to ways that other people have messed up, in ways unique to him. I don't even want to sum up the situation, so I'm just going to show it on screen. Please feel free to pause at your leisure. All I'm going to say is this. This is beyond my limits. Plenty of shit before this pushed my limits. This is one of the worst things I've ever read in my entire life. I am drained just thinking about this. This whole situation is the logical extreme of the worst case scenario that can happen if a child plays Chris Hansen. Well, okay, not the worst case situation. But yeah, the situation, it got worse. The response also got worse. And also, by far, the worst context argument I've ever seen in my entire life. It's just an emotionally draining topic. It's probably one of the worst, maybe the worst I've seen. All I can really say is, like, despite all this, Pieman fucked up super bad. But also, I kind of see Pieman as a bit of a victim of circumstance, an emotionally vulnerable and reliant teenager in developmental years who's admitted they don't really talk to women outside of Twitter, and they're stuck in commentary, and yeah, this was gonna happen. All of her inspirations are failed Chris Hansen wannabes. She's gonna do the same thing, except even dumber, which says a lot. And it's just emotionally draining once again. Sorry, I'm a bit more rambly in this section. I just don't want to think about it too much. The only good takeaway I can have is that I think this was a wake-up call for a lot of people, and a lot of people were saying that they're straight up leaving commentary after this. I'm not sure if they're all going to go through with that. Not sure how long, if they do. I just hope they go through with it longer, and I just hope people stop letting their kids in so willy-nilly without some monitoring, especially nowadays. Just at least watch your kid. This isn't even like a dig at commentary. I mean, it is, because this specific community falling in, this is exactly what I was kind of expecting would happen. It's a bit worse than what I was expecting, but I knew something bad was going to happen with Pieman for a while. You have a kid on the internet, just generally speaking, make sure they don't get fucked up. If you want me to keep shitting on commentary channels, well, here's a good example. Pieman was removed from an upcoming collab, which, you know, I'm totally on board, but said collab was involving Zaptie, you know, that guy who was like a 20-year-old who was trying to screw a 16-year-old who turned out to be a 14-year-old, but Pyro, if they figured out that the person Pyro was role-playing with was that age and Pyro knew about it the whole time, Pyro would currently not have a YouTube channel, but by these same people. So, once again, completely arbitrary standards. Whatever, who cares? Not like morality matters, just what? Do you think this is some exception to the rule or something? Yeah, it's worse than basically anything I've ever seen, but about a week later, some idiot commentary channel in Roblox named Parlor made a giant expose doc with a bunch of other people, and one of the people involved, by the way, Parlor, also another kid, one of the people involved admitted they saved it for evidence and then blurred it and put it in their public Google Doc, and also focused on things that didn't matter as much. A lot of bad stuff generally, but they were kind of screwing the pooch on the allegation in the same way because, hey, give them enough warning for this person they're alleging against to fucking run away. Kids, please stop trying to expose pedos really badly, and also please stop saving child porn. I don't get why I have to tell kids to not save child porn, but Kids, don't save child porn for evidence, especially since it should be pretty easy to expose these people with like everything around it. All of this is insanely predictable and insanely repetitive. Honestly, I do just kind of wish that there was at least some kind of FBI agent like watching this section of YouTube being like, hey, stop that. No gay contracts can stop it. No, if you do it again, you're going to prison. Forever. Or maybe get Epsteined. Oh, but I signed a contract with Technicals 2 years. Yeah, you screwed up everything about pedophilia in every way 47 times in the past 3 years. We don't forgive you. Go to jail. Honestly, I do think that some of these people are at the point where they're kind of jail-worthy, you know? Some of this stuff is illegal. I mean, I just went over a section where a couple teenagers were downloading child porn. Like, I think it's more acceptable for those idiots because they're more of victims of influence. But even them, they should know. They should know that this is illegal. Posting that they did it to the world is also just a terrible idea. Damns them. There's nothing good about this community, guys. Stop participating in it.
Scrimzox has already destroyed the reputation of the Roblox community, and his actions and status as a commentary YouTuber is detrimental to the community as a whole. He's not only a bad person in his personal life, but a genuine stain on the genre of commentary, embodying everything the community loves to hate.
WTF, and that's cancel culture. I mean, like, Deorio did what the fuck is Vito doing? I guess more than what the fuck. And he even shows Keemstar's tweet to Vito. Deorio showed the tweet as well. And Deorio's got 4,600 fucking likes on it. So I'm like, how are you going to accuse Yellow Flash of leading like a cancel culture fucking move against fucking Vito? That is insanity. That is pure fucking insanity. I know he knows when Deorio is tweeting.
Get the fuck out, stupid bitch. We have the exact same age gap for Zaptie here as we do in the Mini-Lat case. And you went pretty hard on that, tipster.
He then asked if he could take my virginity, and I told him yes. Obviously, extremely inappropriate conversations to be having with a 17-year-old girl. For you guys to defend him is unacceptable. Under no circumstances should anyone be defending these actions. He needs to be registered as a sex offender. This guy needs to do time for these horrible atrocities that he has committed against these two girls.
So what the fuck is this? I stand with Bigby? That's a pretty hefty turnaround, don't you think? If you guys actually called each other out on your bullshit, then I'd imagine you would have done that already. But you haven't. Mostly because Tipster is a pussy, but also because YouTube is the only thing he has, and he doesn't want to alienate himself from his friend.
Kids are now unironically using the he's changed and it's in the past argument to defend grooming accusations. Can we just ban kids from the internet? The concepts presented in this video are seemingly not very well connected. They seem to be rather dark with something to do with nonsense. So what's the nonsense about? Here's the connection. Not only is there a double standard towards who gets accused of degeneracy, there's weird standards on what's considered degeneracy. Example, Turkey Tom has went on record saying that Pyrocynical is a bad guy and kind of tiptoed around calling him a groomer, but pretty much did. Almost got his reputation destroyed irreparably because Pyro role-played sexting with an anonymous person on an 18-up forum when Pyro was 19 and the person in question was 4 years younger. Meanwhile, jumped to defend Zaptie, who explicitly sexted with a 16-year-old with the same age gap and was going to, according to Nick and the implications of the message, actually visit and or screw them. And guess what? It wasn't the same age gap. Catfished. It was even worse. So the best case scenario for Zaptie is still worse than the worst case scenario for Pyro. But yet Pyro was at a bigger risk of being cancelled, let's just say. I know Zaptie was cancelled but then uncancelled, kind of like Pyro. But come on! The exoneration is completely different. Seriously, the bias is painfully obvious. These people allegedly go after nonsense, and even if everyone I've mentioned in this video is not only completely innocent, but they lied about themselves and they faked the screenshots, somehow the message is clear. You're not as bad as the child diddler if you're in commentary. It was just a mistake you grew up from. It was a 4-year age gap. It's gonna be fine. Don't let the cancel mob get to you. However, if you're a critic of commentary, a commentary channel they don't really like anymore, someone no one has a personal connection to, with a whiff of allegations, you are the child diddler. 4-year age gap might as well be 8 and 52. It's the consistency of their morals, baby, and always has been. So you'll get false exonerations and false accusations in a community full of teens, naive teenagers who make up the blind follower department specifically, many of which who've already failed to Chris Hansen even harder than the adults. This video alone provided at least 3 examples of teenagers Chris Hansening, if you want to count the privated videos of the small commentary channels I went over 4 times. If you were to include the 15-year-old in the Instagram wake up, 5. If you want to count Harley's introduction with Cosmodore and that Komodachi guy as different events, 6. TLDR, this community is just straight up evil and dangerous now, with a protected class of degeneracy. Even better. Tipster, no one cares that 4 morons were forced to sign the Treaty of Versailles after you all muddied the water and proved that not only do you not care about the pedophile cases, that you act as the end-all and be-all in public discourse. Already a dangerous combo. But, you know, even Technicals was kind of sucked into that. But at least Technicals, you could argue, is still consistent. I think the commentary community should pay more attention to this and discourage a lot of close contact with sus individuals working with kids. Like, that's the least we can ask for, right? If they don't, then yeah, how does the place where we protect pedos on our side and enable teens to talk to pedos because they're safe behind a computer screen community sound to you guys, right? I'm not saying that's what it is. I'm saying that's what news articles can easily spin it as because you keep giving them a lot of ammo. I've seen them talk about YouTube drama. Like Tom Dark, he's right. Commentary isn't gonna die. But if this stuff becomes exposed to the mainstream, the reputation of the community can go from toxic shithole to, oh, so this is the place where people call everyone outside of their community pedos but defend their friends for the same shit. Like a hypocritical ring and rewards teenagers for playing Chris Hansen with, you know, monetization money. Not saying it is that exactly, but journalists could easily do that. You're the worst of society only when I say so, not when you actually are. Great. But these people are going to be shocked when they find out that Mr. Girl, the guy who constantly says he's not joking, turns out to not be joking. I'm straight up predicting the next non-reversey. Or maybe Augie the free speech advocate actively talks to Mr. Girl in a nice conversation and white knight him in chat if Mr. Sen questions their new best friend, Mr. Girl, who is totally not a creep. Oh, maybe Augie's not being a hypocrite and just learned from wise old Father Keem. Oops. Okay, 2 examples don't mean. Oh, nah, Augie just wants to fuck Mr. Girl.
Enjoy it, because that's
would
the
find another
last. That's the last we're gonna hear from me on this. Fuck.
That's
fuck
the last
this
gonna
shit.
hear on my channel after
People are
no,
fucking freaks.
hold
People
on,
want to
so
go
I-
on my ass for fucking challenging Mr. Girl, dude. I feel 10 times more disgusting after this entire fucking VC than I did in that entire 3-hour conversation.
If I told you we're gonna play a game, we're gonna play a game, and the game is a 12-year-old's gonna twerk on your lap for 5 minutes. The hottest 12-year-old you've ever seen, by the way.
Okay.
Hottest. Well, I don't.
Jesus fucking Christ, dude.
Hold on, just let me
There's-
finish. Let me
Holy
finish.
shit.
There's gonna be a shotgun aimed at your head, though.
Okay.
And if you get a boner in those 5 minutes, it's gonna blow your brains out.
I would survive.
But if you make it 5 minutes, you get $1 million.
Mr. Sen, I don't really understand what the hell's going on with that lolly shit that everyone brings up every 5 minutes, but let's just to be safe, I'm gonna put you on a cross next to Larrick. That's where degenerates belong. Even though they are birding it, if I'm gonna choose between Lolix and Lolpia's home and a bunch of nonce defenders, I think I know I'm gonna choose. What's really depressing is it almost seems like Augie knows there's a problem, but he's not very great at fixing it. It ain't his duty to fix it, but it ain't his duty to arguably maybe make it worse. Knowing it's fucked doesn't unfuck it, and you are starting to become a part of the problem with this shit. Come on. My predictions, I hate being right all the time. All I can say is everything just looks really bad from an outsider looking in. Believe it or not, I'm actually being charitable. Let me guess, the person watching this video on a stream is going to pause and laugh? Real original. Anyways, I was charitable because I didn't straight up call your community a fucking pedophile ring that was also deliberately pointing it everywhere else for people to be distracted. No, I don't think you guys are that bad. There is just too much selective degeneracy in this community, and it's a problem. You guys are getting into legal scuffles every 5 minutes, so of course it's a problem. I just hope you understand my thesis at this point.
I'm not going to promote it like Augie did, and I'm certainly not going to do it like Bobax or Tipster did. Because it's stupid. It's wrong. Dipshit. There's really nothing else left for us. Mormon guy, you're good.
Hey.
What do you got?
So one of the things I thought, where is everybody's parents in this entire situation?
That's honestly all that's left. And how ironic that the community that messes up serious allegations so much that essentially taught teens to play the world's worst Chris Hansen for clout ends up failing because of too many degenerates that are inside. Frankly, I can't think of a better form of comeuppance if that does happen. Honestly, all that can really be said now is this.
The commentary community, you know, I'm not gonna lie, alright? You know, people call out the commentary community. They say that it's, at best, cringe and full of egomaniacs who have no possible way to justify their egos. And at worst, it's, you know, a pedophile haven, right? I can't really argue either of those.
Also, the day before he called someone desperate, he was begging for someone to unblock him to the point where he straight up bought their NFTs to buy back his friendship. I can't make this up. Then Augie one-upped his friend by calling a kid cruel for saying he sold his soul to technicals in the same thread that he was telling him to kill himself. What is wrong with these people?